You're not cooking.
Yeah, dude.
Pork chop sandwiches. Oh, shit. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Go. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot. Fuck, we're all dead. Get the fuck out.
My God, did that smell good.
Detect it. There's no going and you tell me do things. I done running.
G.I. Joe.
Sit still anymore. I wanna break things with my hammer. I wanna start a little war. Isn't that what this little red button here is for? I wish the sun was louder.
He don't care. He doesn't care. Well. Look who it is. It's us once again. And this is a very special live edition of the Cirque Du Sirois Entertainment Spectacular. My name is Michel Sirois. My name is Black Nitro. My name is Cirque Nowitzki, the deadliest deep ball in all the land. And I could do this show alone, but I've chosen not to tonight. But I've also chosen not to have my brother Cash here. He is on a minor, we have a very small company, but a minor suspension for his comments about San Antonio on the show last week. So he's going to go ahead and take today off. And fret not. We got Ringy Ding Dingu sitting right next to me. It's Danny Balis. And Skin Wade, who we got to his camera.
I was prepped for a different introduction.
I didn't know. It's not like we discussed.
I thought that Cash was appealing his suspension.
He is. He's standing right outside that door.
But he just doesn't want to work.
No, he wants to work bad, but we've made an executive decision to not align with his thoughts that come from his heart.
Incredibly unfortunate comments that do not reflect the views of you or myself or Madigan.
Team Having Fun LLC.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think justice was done.
I hope. And a lesson.
We'll let him know when he can come back.
Hopefully learned.
Mm-hmm.
In
He's
his
on thin ice over here.
stead, we got the guy. We got the guy behind the guy that just knocked out that one guy. It's Jeff Skin Wade.
Woo!
We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
There are so many cameras in here. I don't know where to look.
Count them. 1, 2.
You look at that one on
Five,
the far
right?
right. That's you.
I want to look at Mike's camera. Is that bad studio awareness?
I like how I looked totally normal
Yes.
like 10 minutes ago. Kind of. And then I didn't want to do it, man. He's like, let's do hair.
You looked like that when I walked in.
Well, yeah, but that was shortly before you walked in. She did the hair. I'm like, all right, fine.
I said, ready for hair and makeup? He said, oh, we're doing that again?
Yeah.
You realize
yeah.
there's a strategy behind this.
I don't think
So
there is.
Really?
When we create our YouTube shorts or our reels,
Yeah.
there's always a thumbnail choice. And when I put those together, I'm always mindful to make sure that the most insane picture of him is representing. I think there's like one that's not.
In mid jizz
Cash.
face.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
With that hair and whatever whatever formation it's taken on that particular day, just to get people like, what the fuck is this?
We are fresh out of
Click it.
ideas with this to do with this too.
I don't know if you are familiar with this concept, Jeff Skinwade, but when you have no real talent or content, you have to go with flair. It's called style over substance.
Indeed.
I thought you were going to say it's called the Ben and Skin Show. Hey, are those prescription?
No.
Oh, yep.
Oh, these are OGs.
They're nice.
I threw those on last second too. And then 10 seconds before he walked in, I'm like, ooh, where's my gold chain? I wore this once, we would go out to lunch and there was a nice black lady at a restaurant right around here. And she's like, ooh, you got that heavy. I'm like, hell yeah. So this is officially the heavy.
What's it made out of for real?
I don't know, grade D plastic.
Is it really plastic? Let me see.
Yes.
Come here. Oh, shit. I thought it was at least
Completely pointless.
That came out of a gumball machine.
You're from the world of the NBA. What would this cost if it was real gold?
Oh, at least a couple hundred.
You know,
I'm from the world of the NBA.
You have NBA money.
I looked over and Followell had that hanging from his neck.
Have you ever seen and appreciated the jewels of the NBA stars?
Yeah.
That's got to be something you notice upon walk-in.
No, for sure. I mean, certain guys have, when there's like just an entire medallion that has all these details and diamonds and stuff. And I don't know how to price any of that stuff. And I'm like, that person has a Maserati hanging from their neck.
Was it
Johnny Dang?
Was it Marquise Daniels? Is that a
Kesey had some serious jewelry.
And then Bob and Dan back in the day would do the bit of basically the net worth bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're working and doing well, making good money.
Right.
As on-air hosts at KTCK, they do very well, deservedly so. But they're like, at age 60, do you want the trajectory that you're on, your net worth, or do you want the net worth of Marquise Daniels, who's making 5s to 10s of millions? I don't know.
He had that first, he's a second round pick.
With this, his own head in diamonds. Literally, it looked just like him. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So, he's the one I think of first when you think of NBA jewels, I guess. But
his ace homie is still around and a wonderful dude. Josh Howard still lives in the area.
Does he?
He had moved away. He moved back to Carolina and then came back and does some coaching and hoops administration. But he's around the team again.
Josh Howard is?
Yeah.
No shit.
Awesome dude.
Is he a great dude?
Awesome dude.
Is he the one that couldn't control what the ball gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of the best and most honest answer. When we asked, why'd you miss that free throw? It's like, man, you can't control what the ball is going to do.
Can't control what the ball is
But
going to
they
do.
said it way more stoned than that.
Yeah.
Which is what made it funny.
Yeah.
And then, if I remember correctly, he went on Galloway's show and talked about partying or smoking weed no, it was when Michael Irvin was on ESPN. And then that was like kind of his last straw with Avery. Avery had kind of, had his up to his wits end with him. But Ben and I were doing the Mavs postgame show on the ticket right when he got there, right? So we got there basically when Josh Howard and Kesey got there. And so it's easier when you go into the locker room to become buddies with the young guys because they're not jaundiced yet and they, have time.
Excited kind of.
So we befriended Josh Howard really early on and stayed friends with him. Like he went to Washington and I think Utah, but we ended up staying friends with him the whole time. And it's really great to see him. Like he's a really sweet guy.
I mean, how old is he now? Is he?
He's probably
40?
early 40s, I bet. I bet he might be mid 40s.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell,
I'm 54. I bet he's 44, something like that.
It's amazing how much money those do. Even like mid-level dudes. And he was an early pick, wasn't Josh Howard or no?
He was a late first round pick.
First rounder. And he had flashes where it was like really good.
Oh, dude, he made an all-star team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, those dudes like that you don't think of, and just the sheer amount of money that they accrue by staying in the league too, a year or two, even right at tail end of your career or whatever.
Yeah.
Just such good money.
And then I think the NBA also has a pretty good,
Pension
retirement
plan,
pension program.
Really?
So
Jeff is one of the voices of the Dallas Mavericks. I read an article about you and your friend Ben today, just about your trajectory and career and all this stuff.
was it in Ben and Skin magazine?
Yeah, exactly. One subscriber, Gator.
Oh, dude, you guys should get Gator on this show.
Dude, done. Gator and Vita? Yes.
Oh, God.
Imagine that.
That would be a 5-hour show.
Well, and I read it, and it's just cool. It's about, your years and whatever. And it was dated 2016. So I'm like,
Wow.
Jesus, that's 10 years ago. So I'm just like just the length. Oh, and at the time you had, I think that was your 8th year with the Mavericks. Does that feel right? Okay.
Yeah, so we left the ticket in August of 2008 and got our first full-time radio job at 105.3. And then we thought we were going to go work at Live. It's funny, man. We were so ensconced in Ticket World, I'd never even listened to 105.3.
Right.
We went to work full-time at a radio station that I'd never listened to because I knew they did talk. Big Dick Hunter was there, and we knew Richard, obviously. Mm-hmm. I mean, I lived in Dallas my whole life, so I knew who Russ Martin was, but I didn't listen to his show. Mm-hmm. And so we went there. We were doing a 5-hour midday show, and it was not a sports show. And so, we're kind of planting the seeds for the freak here. But we went and we did that show, and we thought we were going to do that show. They did not tell us that they were flipping to sports.
Like 3 months, right?
Dude, so we got there in August of 2008. They flipped to sports December 15th of 2008. So imagine me and Ben, who've been in full-time radio for 3 months, were supposed to go against the Hardline and Randy Galloway. And we knew we were fucked.
Yeah.
Like we knew we weren't at all delusional. We were like, we are not good enough to do this. We are not seasoned enough. We did not earn this. This is going to fail miserably.
Yeah.
And so this new guy had come in and immediately tried to split me and Ben up. He was a total cocksucker, like anyone who's ever worked for Tom Bigby knows. And I'm talking about a guy who is passed away.
Well, so it's safe.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying people still won't say nice things about him.
Even now that he's dead?
No. They're like, yeah, he was a total asshole. Man.
At his funeral, they probably said some nice things.
I mean, I don't say it. No. I didn't get invited. But, man, pull Chuck Cooperstein aside one time and talk to him about Tom Bigby.
I'd have to pull Chuck Cooperstein aside. And I don't know where I would ever be in a scenario where that would be an option.
That's your next barbecue. But
Chuck, I know.
Yeah.
Can I get 5?
Who are you again? Oh yeah, Dingo. Yeah.
But anyways, so we knew that they were flipping.
You knew when? The second you got hired?
No, here's what happened. This is great. So we were done for the day, and we had our own little studio. And you guys now, you've worked with Ben, so you know what Ben's like. As soon as we get there, Ben found a room and turned it in our studio and hired someone to do the wall.
Right.
It just, what Ben did at the Freak.
Unauthorized ownership.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was great. He created an environment that was fun to be in.
Hell yes.
And so anyways, we were in our offices about 3:30, and this is probably mid-October. And at this point, we're kind of starting to figure it out. Like, I'm actually starting to like our show. At first, the show was terrible. We didn't know what we were doing, trying to fill 5 hours. We didn't have
What were you? Was it entertainment? Was it news? Was it fucking weather? Like
it was all
sports,
obviously? It was basically what we did on the Freak.
Yeah.
You know, but we just didn't have the reps and the experience yet and the know-how. But we started to like really get our footing, and we did a really good job taking calls. This is 2008.
Yeah.
And we would take calls and just fuck with callers, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so anyways, we're starting to feel good about ourselves, and Tim Kalishaw texts me and goes, hey.
Which never happens, by the way.
I actually do go back a ways with Tim Kalishaw.
Now, this is back when he was drinking, though, too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Dude, we can get into that.
I'm going to text again.
We can get into that whole story, but when he passed out, he was on the air with us. Like when he had when he had his seizure, it was during a commercial break, and I was looking up at a prompter. It was like a sports, but whatever it was on. And you know how you're like, I can see you right now, even though I'm looking up here. I could see Tim, and I was talking to him, and then I could see him just slowly go back, and I looked, and he had locked up, and he was going backwards. And the guy who was running the board, this dude Troy, is actually a former Boy Scout, and he knew what to do. And me and Ben went to the hospital with Tim. We had just gotten off the air.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's whatever. That's a whole other story.
Is that when he stopped drinking? Is
yes.
that what triggered his?
Yes.
No shit.
And he's pretty open about it, and I don't think he cares I would be telling this stuff. But one time I walked into our office, and he had accidentally left, like I guess it was a CT scan of his brain, and it was sitting on the desk because he had fallen and hit his head.
Jesus.
And so anyways, the reason I'm saying all that is that Tim's brother, Brian, actually played high school basketball for my dad. No, not Brian, Pat. His name is Pat Kalishaw. So I had known Tim and, felt comfortable with him and all this stuff. So Tim called me and said, "What do you think about Gavin Spittle?" And I was like, "Our program director? Why are you asking me that?" He goes, "He's interviewing me for middays." And I was like, "We're middays. What the fuck is going on?"
Wait a tick.
And Ben had
We're middays and afternoon drive. Wait a second.
Ben had just quit his lucrative TV sales job to take a huge salary cut to come do radio with me.
Yeah.
So we go marching into Spittle's office. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Russ Martin, the studio was insane. It was gigantic. He had a bar in there. Bands could play live. It was just fucking nuts.
Where was this facility at?
It was on where 35 and 114 or 183 come together. I guess they called it the Stemmons building or whatever. It's a CBS building right there where those two highways come together. I guess it's Regal Row.
Yeah. So Russ has his own thing, and it's private. Nobody else uses it.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, Russ was such a dick to everybody. When he invited me and Ben in his studio, all of his minions were weirded out. They were like, "What's going on here? Russ doesn't let anybody in here. What's happening?" It was, dude, that whole thing was so fucking insane. And that was when he was at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, it was him and the hard line at the time.
Neck and
We're
neck.
either one and two, one way or the other.
And so what had happened was, if you guys remember the story, he was involved in this deal where I don't know the details, so I'll say allegedly beat up his girlfriend with a gun. And so they knew that was an untenable situation.
So they killed two birds with one stone. They added a second sports station in Dallas, or was ESPN already around at that time?
It was a third sports station.
The third sports station in Dallas, and they were able to cut bait with a troubled piece of talent.
Who I'm pretty sure was making $1 million a year.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that too at the time.
Yeah. And that doesn't
08.
include his staff. And he would have like 7 guys on the
Yeah.
show. And so anyways, but because Russ swung such a big stick, he had a surveillance camera in the program director's office.
Yes.
Okay. And during the show, he could pull it up and look at it and start doing like his own play-by-play of whatever was happening in Spittle's office. So imagine we go walking into Spittle's office during Russ's show, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on? What are you doing? Why is this happening?"
Did Russ have audio? Or
I
just
don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. And man, Spittle, who is already like, it's not like he's, he definitely looks like he's from Scotland. Like he's a pasty man. He got 5, sheets of white. And he was like, freaking the fuck out.
And he was trying to keep that from you guys.
Yes.
Until.
And he was trying to keep it from Russ.
Oh, okay.
So, and Spittle might dispute all this and have his own version, and that's fine. This is my version of the story. This is mine and Ben's version. So we went out like a scene from the fucking Sopranos. We went out and stood by the highway and talked like this, and he told us what was happening. And it was like, "We're flipping to sports, and you and Ben are the afternoon show. That's pretty much why we got you guys. We needed a sports show."
That is so shitty.
So they knew before.
They knew that they had acquired rights to the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't tell us. And the thing about it is, you guys know how Catlin is. Catlin was very good to me and Ben and helping us go to 105.3 because he didn't see it as competition. He was very helpful to me and Ben. But man, honestly, Catlin was very good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sit there and talk Iron Maiden, and I guess that's why he liked me. I don't know.
We talked about a little bit about that on our last show, and he and I, before I ever worked there, we were kind of buddies and hung out and went to concerts together. So that was kind of the foundation of our relationship.
Because he was
friends.
You took over for him as producer, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of, unbeknownst to me, maybe at the time, was kind of maybe he liked me.
Yeah.
And you know how this business is. It's very little about how good you are, but how well you can get along with others and be part of a team and chemistry and all that. And he took a liking to me, and I think he was grooming me to be the next in line for him on the hard line.
And also, as someone who was a listener of the station before I was on the station,
same.
Danny from Lake Highlands, to me, like I always enjoyed hearing Danny from Lake Highlands. And my initial impression of Danny was that you were alt country guy, like I'm just loosely going to say like Sun Volt, that
Sure.
Uncle Tupelo, that whole kind of vibe because of some of the stuff you were sending in or doing for them. I kind of had in my head you were that before I realized you had such a wide, musical past and been in metal bands and all this kind of stuff. But I loved whenever they would reference Danny from Lake Highland. So it made sense to me when you became the producer of the show. I thought it was really cool.
That's got to be like, and shit, maybe that's a whole different day, but your whole caller thing and sending funny faxes and
faxes,
fucking songs, whatever.
Or email.
But like the jump from that, because honestly, most of the time I spent at the ticket, the over callers or the over, the person just contributing, they're kind of whipped by them. The fact that they would then get a job and be the producer of this show is an insane jump.
It was kind of like the Leon Simon dream in a way.
Yeah.
Leon
with
Wally and Leon.
I remember the name.
Yeah, Leon was a frequent contributor or caller
to Wally's show.
Wally's show.
Yeah.
And he ended up bringing him on, and they were co-hosts for a long time.
You want to know a funny thing? You may know this. Wally got Kavanaugh his start in radio.
No shit.
Wally Lynn did.
Kavanaugh had to have been a baby.
Yeah. Wally knew Kavanaugh somehow. I'm not exactly sure how.
Yeah.
But he first got Kavanaugh. You guys know the name Arnie Spanier?
Yeah.
For a while, Arnie Spanier was sleeping on Kavanaugh's couch.
Arnie Spanier?
Yes.
He was syndicated on the ticket.
And then he
night times for a good while.
And then he bounced around and he ended up coming here and being on the fan, and Jeff was answering calls on his show at night. And Arnie Spanier was sleeping on Kavanaugh's couch.
Did he go to Denver? Is that
Arnie?
Arnie? No. You don't remember? It's like,
oh, no, that's...
Who am I thinking?
Oh, shit.
Like
I was about to say Armin Williams, but that's a different dude.
That actually might be who it is.
Armin was the guy. Armin was a wonderful kid. And I say kid because, so basically at the time that me and Ben, we flipped to sports and
Russ was gone.
Yeah. And
did they just was his contract up or did they fire him and pay him?
I think they paid him for like a whole year. I don't even know. I don't know the
whole year
details.
of severance, huh?
Yeah.
And then he went back. What's that like?
Lucky son of a bitch. How?
I mean, what cocksucker?
What kind of piece of human garbage?
What a piece of shit would even accept that and think that they deserved it?
Yeah, I should have declined.
2 months max.
Return to sender.
Maybe 3. I'm
sorry, I rambled. I said 25 things at once. So basically, Kalashaw, tipped us off.
Yep.
Gavin told us what was up on December the 15th. We
relaunched
instead of our show we did 2 hours of our show, and then at noon
flipped it.
They started playing college sports anthems on a loop for 3 hours.
They stunted for 3 hours with
college sports anthems. Me and Ben, I swear to God, this is true. And you guys know Sybil.
Yeah, of course.
Sybil was on our show at this time.
Sybil's my neighbor, believe it or not.
Is that right?
Yeah, she lives like a block from me.
Sybil's a talented media person.
Very much
She
so.
can do a lot of different things. And so we added her to our show because we needed her vibe, her energy. Again, we were doing 5 hours. So me and Ben and Sybil went in our office and basically hid because there was a genuine fear, whether it was real or not, there was concern of what Russ might do when he found out. This is a guy that had a history of beating up a person with a gun. And so we went back there and we hid. Upon instruction, they played college anthems for 3 hours, and then we went on the air at 3 o'clock as the new afternoon drive sports show on 105.3 The Fan at 3 o'clock. And to make this whole story complete, where we started, so that was December 15th. On January 9th, I believe it was, I had gotten a call the day before from Dave Evans. You probably know Dave Evans. Your brother worked with Dave. Dave was working for the Mavericks at the time, but later worked at Balis and Fox Sports Southwest. Legendary, broadcast guy that everyone loves and reveres. He's an awesome, awesome human. He called me and said, "Would you jump on our broadcast tomorrow night?" Actually, he called Ben because he had Ben's number. He didn't have my number, and Ben's on the other side of the room. And Ben takes a call and goes, "Yeah, Skin's right here. If you want to talk to him." And Dave was like, "Can you come be on the broadcast tomorrow night?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Do you have a suit?" I have one suit. He goes, "Okay, we want you to come and be on the broadcast tomorrow night." And I didn't know what we were doing. I thought, okay, they're going to maybe have me do a bit or something. I walk in and I'm supposed to do color. Like, I did not fully know what I was getting involved in.
That was a Knicks game.
It was a Knicks game. And I actually made a Eddie Curry fat joke. And they were like, hey, man, this isn't radio. Also, really funny. I don't even know where the audio is. Your brother could probably find it. But right out the gate, I was Metal Bats.
Oh, hell yeah.
Followell wrote, settle down on a piece of paper and slid it over in front of me.
shit.
Yeah.
I have settled down written on a Post-it note right on my laptop. I've been there for 15 years.
Laminated it.
Never
for him.
works.
I can't tell you, dude.
The more cocaine he does, the blurrier
I
that
don't do
Post-it
any
gets.
cocaine.
I
don't know what it says.
You do a little cocaine.
Not on this show.
Some
pink.
cocaine.
Not on this show.
Just crank.
Somebody did say my character is like a coked out 70s casting couch director.
That was actually Sybil.
Was it really?
I'm not kidding.
Shit.
She sent me the sweetest text yesterday, I believe it or not. I believe it was, and I sent it to those guys. But she's a listener of this ridiculousness. But that's insane. So
Yeah.
And you thought it was a one-off, and then next thing you know, because Cuban liked it, right? And he wanted something
Cuban
a little
liked
different.
it. And everyone always thought that, like, I took Ortigal's job. I worked alongside Ortigal for 2 years.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Cuban didn't like sideline reporters, so he wanted to eliminate that from the equation. And they wanted, I mean, I'm old now, but back then, you know, I was at least still in my 30s, and so they wanted to young it up or hip it up or do something. And they felt like, and I eventually saw the email that he sent, and so I know exactly what he said. He said something to the effect of, the only guy that can in Dallas that can do what I want is Skin. And I thought, man, I thought this guy hated me.
Who, Cubes?
Yeah. You know, Cubes tried to get us fired out the ticket. When we first got on the air, we'd been on the air for 2 weeks.
You guys were just doing like a week.
We're doing Mavericks post-game show was the first thing we did.
But you also had a weekend.
Not
show.
yet.
No, that was before that.
Right when we started, we replaced Wally Lynn. Here we go. Like, Wally's back in this conversation. Wally was doing the post-game show. And, you know, Frito, we had gone to high school with Frito. And Frito wanted to work us in. And I remember we went in and we sat with Bruce Gilbert. And Frito was in there. And Bruce was like, you know, we could have in the day given you a weekend show, but we just switched to Ticket Sports Saturday. We don't really have anything. And I was like, we will kill your Maverick postgame show. Like hockey. Like, we will fucking destroy your Maverick postgame show. You've never had anything like this. You know, because I was young and I was really felt good about myself that we could, you know, I was like, man, nobody knows hoops like me around here. It's a different era.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff that I had, you know, gotten good at, there's like a dime a dozen now because the internet and chat rooms and blogs and all this stuff.
Access is much
easier. There's like, at the time I was doing that, nobody would take the time to go read all of those Larry Kuhn CBA stuff. I read that whole thing inside out. So, like, I knew that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nobody, and I felt that, like, hey man, no one can do what we can do. I really was that confident. And I think, you know, because the Mavericks were getting so popular because everyone loved Dirk and everyone loved all that, it caused attention to come on to me and Ben. So we were able to rise faster because everyone wanted to be around whatever was happening with the Mavericks, and we were suddenly looked at as Mav experts. But we'd been on 2 weeks, and Cuban got mad at me
For something you said?
about Sean Bradley, and he called in, and our post-game show, it was at the old number 7. There was something happening with the feed, so we had to drive back to the radio station right quick on a Saturday night. He was pulling out of the station. I was trashing Sean Bradley. He didn't like it. He called in. He and I argued commercial-free nonstop for 45 minutes.
About Sean Bradley?
Yeah, and I was like, at first I was like, this is funny, and I was like, the fuck are you talking about, man? You're wrong. Like, I was too, again, no experience.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm right. This motherfucker's wrong. I'm not going to let you tell me I don't know shit.
Was he
so
saying
I bowed up.
on the air that you should be fired, or did he go to management after that 45-minute?
No, what happened was they took that whole, he called, Bruce, and Bruce took that, no, he actually called Dan.
And asked for a copy of it?
Dan took the 45-minute thing and played it for Norm. Norm did not know us yet. Norm listened to the whole 45-minute thing, and he said, I agree with these guys.
Oh, really?
Over Cuban.
Over Cuban. And so Bruce, because Cuban had threatened to take us out of the old number 7. fine, if you're going to do this, you don't get to be in the old number 7. And so Bruce called back and said, yeah, we're going to remove our show from the old number 7. And there's a guy, you might know Matt Fitzgerald. He passed away in the last couple of years. Matt Fitzgerald, I guarantee you Cash knows him, was head of marketing for the Mavs. Everybody loved Matt. He was awesome. Purdue guy, very just, he would be willing to tell Mark where Mark was wrong, but he had Mark's respect. When he left the Mavericks, he went and worked for Tom Dundon, who owns the Carolina hockey team now.
Yeah, okay.
Guy who started Top Golf.
Yeah.
But Matt spoke some sense to Cuban and said, hey, this is probably a bad idea to go to war with the ticket over Sean Bradley. And so Cuban came around, and then over time, Cuban, I guess, grew to like what we did. And so when it came time to add something to the broadcast, he wanted to add me.
I wonder if part of him respected you for not backing down for 45 minutes.
Dude, it was
your Sean Bradley position.
It was, and
Jesus, fine, okay, you're right.
It's funny how sometimes you're kind of
attrition.
Your naivete can get in your way a little bit. And I was like, I didn't think about how this could damage me and Ben. All I was like was,
you're in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this guy. You're wrong.
Yeah. Did you guys take a break and then he stayed on the line?
He stayed on the line for 45
so you went
minutes.
straight 45?
Straight through.
Blowing through
And you
tickers.
can imagine how Ben was handling this.
Oh, God, so just covered in
Just
that
sweat
meat, the Jordan
coming out of his eyeballs.
The Jordan Peele sweat meat.
Yeah.
With a fake smile,
Ben tells the story way better than me. I mean, Ben's version of the story is fucking hilarious.
Is his version
He was a
shorter?
witness.
It's 3 times longer.
3 times
He's
longer.
a masterful
Okay, I'm glad you're here.
storyteller. Well, shit, we're going to get to radio. We're going to still get to some radio. And if you
What time does the show start?
watch this show for anything going on in DFW radio, whether it be history or
Dude.
current, that's one of the topics that we certainly
I learned like 5 things.
kick around. Yeah, that was
And I've known this
fascinating.
guy for freaking 30 years, it seems like.
So let's housekeep for 1 second beforehand. And if I made Madigan do these graphics and we don't get to them, she's
Okay.
going to strangle me after the show.
Now, I can't find the copy that I'm supposed to read.
Look that. Try to find that in a second.
Okay.
Dropbox, Danny.
Oh, a drop? Okay.
Okay, that's for long later in the show. For
Oh,
now,
okay.
we're attempting the game, right? This might be a colossal failure, but that's why we do things live and just let it rip.
Now, there is one guy on Spotify that hates game shows.
Well, it's not a game show.
I'm just telling you.
We think that's Zach, our former program director, who's got a Spotify account. I said no game shows. I told you. People don't like game shows. Jesus Christ. Dude, Operative sent me the file, the graphics of how Freefall, like the downloads on Freefall were just through the roof.
Yeah.
Like it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Don't talk about free fall.
And that's exactly the thing. We're like, why can't we do it again? Tell me one fucking reason. All right, we may get into all that in a minute. But first off, we want to play a game with the audience. Now, Madigan, incredible work as always, did a fine job at finding a cool game we can possibly play together. And then they wanted a shitload of money to get more people allowed to play the game. So if you have your phone ready and you want to play a little game, there's going to be a QR code. Madigan, what have we?
So only the first 20 people can play.
Yeah.
So be ready. We are playing a little game of Bingo.
Bingo.
We're playing Bingo.
Bingo.
Do I need to get my phone out for this?
No, you're not eligible to
So
play.
if you're one of the first 20 people who scan this and get into the game, you will have a little bingo card pop up of things that could happen throughout the episode.
You'd probably have bingo already with the crap that we just did for 20
It
minutes.
starts now, but as things will happen, I will call these bingo things. Some are just someone saying the F-bomb. It could
Yep.
be as crazy
Danny's
as,
vaping again.
yeah, somebody vaping, whatever it is. So as things happen, I'll be calling these bingos. First person to get a bingo, your name will be put in a drawing for probably a hat or something. And then same with the first person to get a blackout.
Yeah. Oh, that's if they get the whole board.
Yeah, they
There's
get
a couple
the
things on there
whole
that I don't
board.
think are happening.
I'll throw in a 12-pack of Rollertown beer to whoever.
Of delicious
Boom,
Rollertown beer.
There you go.
Assorted flavors, too.
All right. Can you see how many people have gotten in?
About
0?
to-
Shit. It's not working.
Yeah,
So
sorry if y'all are on your phone.
if it works, like we can pay some money and have it up to 100 people or 500 people that can play this. And there's all these assorted other games that are pretty badass.
Okay.
We think there's some cool applications to make this work mid-show fun time.
Who came up with the name?
Madigan and I this afternoon. Well, she wanted to do a bingo thing. We were thinking about printing it and figuring all. I'm like, surely there's an online application where we can do this that integrates with the shit that we already use. And then it took us about 5 seconds to think, oh, dingo.
84 people signed on, but only the first 20 get to play. So you should have gotten a countdown from 10 if you are playing.
And it's super easy.
good
Like
luck.
you don't. There's no app or anything. You just check that code, and then you're on a website, basically on your phone, where you're just staring and you get your bingo information. Do you have a?
Do we get to find out what's on the bingo card, or does she call them out and then that's when we learn?
I don't know.
So no squares have been called yet, but when things do get called, they'll show up right here.
All right, Danny.
Previous ones will get shown over here, and then I can also cut to a leaderboard.
Yeah, and it'll show who hits bingo first. Maybe just relax and enjoy your mint flavored
and some nicotine.
Yeah, take a moment and see what happens.
I think I will. It's a good idea.
What's the deal with that guy over there?
That's Chris, our new intern.
This is Chris, our new intern.
What does he do?
Chris.
All right, there you go. So does anything happen?
Okay.
Danny Vapes.
All
And
right.
then if you're playing, the little Danny Vape square should be shaking.
Yeah, and you can tap it and then
Tap on it to claim it.
She just said something that became a new character. She didn't mean it to be, but Little Danny Vape is a great
Little
character.
Danny
name.
Vapes.
Hey, man. Give me that vape.
on in here.
I got me strawberry mint. I'm having a Nick fit.
Tommy, where's my vape?
I'm only 5'7".
All right, so there's assorted things that can happen throughout the show, and if you are one of the 20 people who are in there playing, you see what you need on your bingo card.
That's great.
Bingo.
And if we do any of
How is
them,
it just now that they came up with
Hope
this?
everyone gets their free
Yeah, I know, right?
space.
That nickname for freaking 15 years.
all right, free spaces in there.
Yeah, if y'all really like this, if you want to do it again, we can level up, but that might be a sponsorship.
Yeah, we're gonna see if it works. Speaking
I
of,
gotta like this for us to keep doing it.
yeah, we hope we have a good fucking time with this game.
Okay, is he out there trolling for squares?
We're just trying to make it see if it works. I'm fishing for squares.
Oh, let me do this little pop down screen that I made.
Try it.
Do.
Mikey told me we had new toys to play with.
We have toys. We always have toys. Every show's gonna have new toys. There you go. See?
Hey,
So they might have two.
F-bomb.
Just act as natural, and we'll be triggering random bingo
I think it's inevitable, right?
bingo squares across the board. All right.
And chat, if I miss them, just like blow up the chat.
Whose table is this? This is great.
Well, what's also great is that light bright that your hand is gently showing,
Benoit.
like Vanna White. That's our friend Brody Jones. See, we sell absolutely everything on this show skin. Everything's for sale,
Good.
including to a potential delicious and burgeoning beer in the Metroplex someday. But for now, we're selling things such as the light bright to your left.
Okay.
And our buddy Brody Jones wanted to honor someone named Benoit. I have no idea why it's in Canadian colors as far as the letter goes. But he simply wanted Benoit written on the light bright, and he got his wish tonight. So
That's great.
thank you, Brody, for supporting what we do.
Maybe he's celebrating the balls. That's what it is.
I don't know if that's the same father of the balls. I think he more means Chris Benoit.
Okay.
For whatever reason, he's obsessed with him.
If you say so.
Cirque Du Sirois at gmail.com if you want to get the light bright or get anything else that we have behind us. It's all for sale. Our asses are for sale. Speaking of that,
It's cheap.
how about a little tip jar action? This is brand
tip
spanking
jar?
new. Watch this. Okay. I mean, it's literally us just asking you for money here.
I'm glad it's on your side of the screen. It makes the most sense.
Oh, the cocaine can fall out of your nose into the tip jar.
You can fill up the tip jar. Please. That's literally just a QR code to our little Venmo
Our
party.
Venmo QR.
So if you feel like it, throw down a little cash.
Shout out Chris the intern for making the graphic.
Yeah, Chris the intern knocked that one out.
Oh, that's the guy over there?
That's
Yes.
the man over there that you
Badass.
keep
Stage
staring
left.
at.
He looks like the guy that maybe got kicked out of the Strokes.
Oh, dude, he totally does.
Yeah.
He was too clean cut. Hey, man, you don't smell. You're not going to be a member of our band.
He didn't do enough heroin
Right.
to be in the Strokes.
Your dad wasn't a fashion mogul.
Our loose thought is the tip jar is an honor system buck a laugh.
Some days we'll make no money.
Well, probably going to make no money, but
Thank you, Philip.
Okay, and Madigan
$5
is
from Philip for my
Hey.
pig.
$5.
Thanks, Philip. That's so nice.
Shut up, Philip.
The first thought was like $1 if you're enjoying the show, throw down $1. But then I'm like, let's not limit ourselves. $1 a laugh.
And the reason we're doing this is we learned today, it's not like the old days, Skin. Interns now get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That guy over there got paid?
He's getting paid right now. Yeah.
Just to offset the cost of the QR code on the tip jar, we need to make a couple $100 in this show.
100%.
Just for the fact that it's there, that it's right.
I might go over there and tip.
Oh, look, it does go in.
It looks like the lid's on it. Y'all might want to pop that open.
You know what it looks like is a jar of mayonnaise, Jeff. And I know you're a huge fan of those.
I don't fuck with mayo.
Mayo's my favorite condiment.
Oh,
Really?
no. I'm a
Yeah.
mustard guy.
Mustard,
See, I hate mustard.
mustard annihilates mayonnaise.
Thank you.
You're the one that's always encouraging people to stick it in a jar of mayonnaise.
That's because of the way it feels.
It does feel.
Shout out Eric, Nolan, and Tony. Thank you for the Venmos.
Okay.
But yeah, mustard is king.
Mustard's amazing.
Yeah.
Mustard's the best.
Yeah.
Of the condiments, mayo feels the best. But in terms of flavor,
Mustard stings.
yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to F a jar of mustard? Probably a good. That's a great policy that we adhere. I don't know if that was on the bingo card. Fuck a
Let's
can
see.
of
Do
mustard.
we have fuck a jar of mustard?
Okay, Skin Regrets coming.
Into the mustard.
And onto the show.
Oh, that's, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Another square has been assigned. So yeah, that's very cool. And pop that up throughout the show for real. We're trying to make this thing work. We're trying to get big ass title sponsors or anybody to be on board with us and support this wild shit 2 nights a week. But if you want to throw $1 or $2, that literally helps us out and saves our ass a shitload. All right.
Thank you, Tony, Daniel, Ryan, and Christopher.
All right.
Dude, I'm going to review all them names after the show.
Because we're not on
They all have little notes too. So
That's awesome.
You guys, somebody who's going to want to buy a sponsorship to your hair. That shit is sick.
I'm trying to
think?
sell his forehead as billboard space.
Yeah, and 1 week ago, I'm like, no, that's childish. We're not going to stoop to that level. And I'm like, $20. Right? You can write. Okay, I almost said something really bad. I saw some videos online. Anyway, sometimes there's writing on foreheads and necks.
Like if you want to promote your white nationalist agenda, I think the line of demarcation is around $150.
You can have the fucking light bright, all right, if you want to put a questionable design on that thing, but not my forehead, please.
Yeah, the Aryan light bright's a bad idea, guys.
But the show
Maybe next week we might be like, yeah, take it. Put it in there.
The tip jar's a good idea because the show's free. It's not a subscription service.
Yeah.
We're not on Patreon or Substack or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. It's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, free
Twitch,
for all.
Our Twitch family.
Yeah.
Which I'm growing very close to.
Yes.
Can you live stream on Grindr?
We will
Open
find
up
out.
your app. Open up
Let me see. I've never tried
your
it.
executive platinum account. I'm sure you can live stream on that. It's just immediately the second you open the app, every dick within 1 mile is slowly drawn directly to your mouth.
Shout out Trevor, Matt, Brian, and Lee. Thank you for the Vemos.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah, man.
Very cool.
That's amazing. Thank you for real for watching the shit, supporting it, whatever.
You want to keep talking radio and do some meat?
Hell yeah, let's do the meat.
What is happening to the meat there?
Are you mad that
Meat.
Are you mad that I used that pretty cool music track for the meat?
I'm not.
Because that could have been something.
It still will.
Yeah, it's
Is that a cutting room floor one that you guys were?
No, that
a
was something
tweener?
I slapped together in about 30 minutes for the meat.
Yes.
I was like, that groove's pretty cool.
It's too good.
Skin's going to be mad at me for wasting it on the meat.
Can't use
No.
it now. It's burned. He burned it on the meat. Bad decision,
Is
Toad.
this the meat remix?
This is the name.
Okay, that's a hot name of a song too.
The meat
meat?
remix?
The meat, and then the meat remix.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm a producer now.
Yeah.
I'm a producer now. Look at me.
All right. Can we
yeah,
do
please.
a little part
Shout out
two
Chris.
of thanks, Chris.
And
Of-
Skip.
And Skip.
Fucking
paid
hey,
us.
read 'em.
Oh, nice.
They paid us $1.69 for your hat, Skin.
Oh, sweet.
That's awesome.
So we talked to Skin a minute ago about kind of his history of how he got the gig at the Mavs, and I learned a lot about the 105.3 flip. A couple of follow-up questions
for
on
sure.
that. And if you are just joining us, please rewind. The first 20 minutes were gold.
Rewind.
So you guys flipped from Hot Talk you got hired at 105.3, which was Live 105 in August.
Yep.
3 months later, you flip to All Sports, and it becomes The Fan.
Yep.
Of December of 2008.
December 15th. It's a Monday.
In hindsight, good decision, considering the Fan has now been there for nearly coming up on 20 years.
Yeah.
And a pretty strong staple of Dallas radio.
Being captured and by the ticket culture and buying into that mindset for as long as I was there, it shocks me. If I were still there, it would shock. It shocked me that the thing made it 10 years.
Right.
Because, the messaging that you get when you work there is that everything else sucks. We're the only thing in the world, and nothing else exists. And if it is, they're all rat bastard pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And that's
quite simple.
A genius mindset to create bunker mentality, us against the world, the little ticket, the underdog mentality. It's brilliant. We should kind of adopt that here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
The little Cirque
Do you
show.
think that the fact that, or the reason that they flipped to sports and put you guys on Afternoon Drive, did that have anything to do with, and this may be just assuming this, or there may be something to it, but did they feel that the ticket lineup was weakened because Grego left just exactly a year earlier?
Well, okay.
Just curious. What you
be,
know about why they decided to do that?
I don't know the definitive answer to that, but I don't think it's because of that.
Yeah.
I think what it is that in different time period in 2008, but as we get further down the line, it proves itself out with what is happening in radio. Sports and politics talk is king, especially for generating revenue. You see this in television. You just can't beat sports for generating revenue. You can't. And so you're talking about a metroplex with as many people as it's got, and that population's just continuing to grow. The thing about the ticket is that the audience, the actual reach, or what they call cum, is smaller than what people think it is. Because the people that are into the ticket, which I used to be one of them, and it's not that anything's happened to the ticket to where I'm like, fuck the ticket. I just stopped. When I left the ticket, I'd never got a chance to listen as much. And the show I probably heard the most was Bob and Dan, just because of the time I could actually listen to the radio. But when you're outside of the ticket universe, it's insane how much is out there that ain't the ticket.
You do realize there's a whole nother world out there.
And I say this respectfully, but it's a much smaller ecosystem than people realize, and it is very much a particular demographic. And one of the things that I learned when like all of the people that are Ben and Skin fans, and here's the thing about the ticket ecosphere, none of the people that are in it think Ben and Skin have any listeners. Like, they just don't, and most of them are like, well, fuck those guys. And me and Ben have been lucky. We've had a nice career in media in a top 5 market without any ticket listeners. And that is because we're in a community that has 7 or 8 million people. How many people live here now?
That's right around there.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there ain't 6 million ticket listeners. And so my whole point is that there's a whole other audience out there. When we went, again, I told you, me and Ben had never listened to 105.3 when we took a job there. We knew Norm was never going to die. That's why we left. We knew Norm was indestructible. We had a moment where Bob and Dan were having contract negotiations that were going sideways. And Kat reached out to me and Ben and said, would you guys be willing to do noon to 3? Like, could you do it? Like, we were on standby. And of course, it got worked out as it should. They were a far superior show to us, not even close. But my point is, when we went through that, Ben and I realized, man, we're not going to get a show. If we can sit here and wait for Norm to retire till the end of time, it ain't happening. If we want to work in radio full time, we're going to have to leave here. And we did. The very first weekend, we went to this 105.3 event. It was at, I guess that was the Bomb Factory. I'm trying to remember I think it was the Bomb Factory. We walked in, and Bowling for Soup was the headliner. No, Bowling for Soup opened up for Russ Martin's band, for 10 guys on stage to watch Russ play AC/DC riffs. I'm not lying.
He's not lying.
We walked in. Now, keep in mind, we'd been on stage at Ticket Stock, all that stuff. The crowd was 3 times as big as any Ticket Stock event. I'm telling you, like, me and Ben were like, what the fuck is this? Like, we were in shock that there was this many people that were interested in going to a radio event that wasn't the ticket. Another fun fact, Big Dick Hunter had Ron Jeremy there.
Oh,
I mean, there's the reason for the draw.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to put a narcoleptic porn star on stage later.
yeah.
Yeah. That can eat 2 extra large Chipotle burritos in one sitting.
Yeah. The hedgehog's the man for the job.
But
always.
That was
30 seconds. When I was in college, before a lot of allegations came out against Ron Jeremy, and I think he went to prison.
Yeah, and you defended him on that.
I didn't defend him. I did support him though.
Yep.
Where I mailed away for an autographed 8x10 of Ron Jeremy when I was in college. So that'd be funny to have on my wall. And I think it was $20, $25. I'm like, yeah, just $25? Yeah, of course. There's a headshot of Ron Jeremy, and he wrote to Mike. Imagine how many he did. He did dozens of these, and he wrote best wishes to a guy 2 inches ... from the floor.
Hell yeah.
And then Ron Jeremy, and I'm like, fuck yes, perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But I found it like sad, and now not shocking at all that I could read that or see the handwriting, and then like the manila packaging and return address was all in the same handwriting. I don't know why I thought Ron Jeremy had a fucking
people.
enterprise.
Yeah, it was him.
Turn and burn these things.
Yeah.
But that was him like getting a manila and stuffing it in there and writing my address down in Flagstaff, Arizona in college.
It's just another confirmation that we're all just winging.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's going to be the meat in a week or two.
We're
all just winging it.
everyone.
100% winging it.
From the ticket. And we talked about this, I think, when we were maybe at the ticket, to the United States government.
Yep.
Everyone is just winging it.
Yeah.
Everyone, and they're trying to sell that I got this figured out. I know exactly what I'm doing.
No one knows.
Everybody's winging it. Some people just have better suits than you do and can speak better than you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm always like I'm most scared of the slickest guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the one that's winging it the most.
Yeah, he's winging it the most, but he is able to project that he knows what he's doing.
Right,
People
and
buy
convince
into
me
it.
for even a brief moment. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is legit. No, he's
It's the
not.
one I always trust the least.
We ran into a couple of those guys at our previous job.
Indeed,
Right.
many. So the day that you gently kissed Ron Jeremy on the mouth.
Yes, and just a little bit of dried DNA. But so we go in there and I see that, and it's like it's a real eye-opening
It's
experience.
dried DNA on the Dingu card, by the way. Just checking.
It's Bingu.
Bingu. No?
Check
Okay.
the Bingu card.
Please carry
not
on.
Seeing it.
So what happened is me and Ben didn't even last at 105.3 for a year. Because this guy came in, I mentioned earlier, Tom Bigby, and immediately tried to break me and Ben up.
Try to separate you guys?
Yeah, he
To
wanted-
put
he-
you on one show and him on another?
Yep, and he wanted
That's amazing.
wanted me to go to the morning, Ben to go to the
What
afternoon.
awareness.
That's like putting Danny and I in the mornings. It's just oil
who
and
would
water.
do
It does
that?
not make sense.
He wanted me to stop being called Skin.
Uh-huh.
He wanted me to be, and so Ben had left a very lucrative job to do this. And so we immediately started trying to figure out a way to get out of that.
Is this one of the handful of times you've seen Ben cry?
Yeah.
Ben's not a crier, interesting enough.
No kidding.
He's a panicker, but not a crier.
Okay.
But also, like, Ben is very strategic in these situations. And he does, we balance each other out. Well, my strengths are way different than his strengths. And I need his strengths to exist in the media world. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the jobs that I've had. And so we started figuring out what the key was. You can't quit. If you quit, you're fucked because of your contract. You can't get hired. You can't quit. Bigby was very much trying to make us quit. It was obvious. And so we were like, all right, we've got to figure out a way out of here. And I'm not going to name the guy, although it's only would just prove that he's a wonderful human. But there was a guy at CBS. He didn't like Bigby either, but he engineered me and Ben getting bought out of our deal.
Was it Jim Nance?
It was Jim Nance.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say it.
I'm sorry I said it.
No,
And
it was
if we
Jim.
weren't live, we could hit the
Can
the
you
dump button.
erase that, Maddie?
You have a dump button?
Oh, we're
Hit
not
the dump
Maddie
button.
Madison? Madigan? What?
Hit the dump button.
Yeah.
So
Got it. We got it.
So we got out of the deal, and it's funny. There's a guy that used to work for the Mavericks. You might know him, Ryan Mackey. Ryan Mackey was a.
I think that we're at 3 in a row of
guys.
me not knowing.
I keep forgetting you're
Mavericks.
not Cash.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep naming people Cash worked.
Right, and then I kind of pretend I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know that name.
We know bartenders.
Yeah,
I remember
Bartenders of the AC, yeah.
when we were doing ticket post game show one night in the old number 7. Ryan Mackey said, because the ticket or the ESPN was the radio home of the Mavericks, so they had a relationship. And Ryan was like, "Would you and Ben ever go to ESPN?" And I was like, under no fucking circumstances would I ever go to ESPN. Why would I go to ESPN? It's not fun. It's Sporty McSports. Mm-hmm. It's Guy Sports. Well, that's not us. I would never go there. Our next job was at ESPN.
Yes.
And
right?
It was the best thing that really ever happened to me and Ben, besides getting that lucky break at the ticket to where we could, become a part of DFW media in the first place.
And having your children. That was
Yep. So
have you met them lately?
Yeah.
They're a real financial drama.
assholes.
Actually, the daughter's doing great. So
Fantastic.
I love you, Des. You know I'm fucking with you. Me and Des got a good rap.
Throw a buck in there for Des.
Yeah, but
Skin has children. Throw a buck in there.
So ESPN was incredible.
Do it.
No, and some
Aw, gay love.
Madigan, can you take the jar off the mayonnaise? That is weird. Oh!
Quick, cut the skin.
Why is that on me?
They got a little.
Right to Skin's forehead. Why?
So ESPN was amazing for us because we got to actually build what we were. Because we'd been hopping around and we were part time. We got to be somewhere. It was the advent of Twitter, and I've said the hell it might have been in that dumb article you read earlier, but. Me and Ben,
I just skimmed it.
Yeah, it's not worth reading.
To be clear.
Me and Ben had a long history of doing a show because of the 13 months that the Rangers went to back-to-back World Series and the Mavericks won an NBA title in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Because over that 13 months, me and Ben went to every single playoff game, home and away, for all 3 runs. We were at every single game.
Yeah.
That was the advent of Twitter. So we're live tweeting from the locker room, from those events.
Which was like new.
It was new.
Yeah.
And that's where we picked up all of our, Ben is so smart with marketing. He'll occasionally put out there, when did you first start listening to the Ben and Skin show? And so much of it came from ESPN in that time period and people writing. And again, going back to the reason I'm blabbering about all this is, there's a gigantic world outside of the ticket. The ticket world is wholly unique and incredible, and you guys contribute.
It's a biodome.
It's a biodome, and it's creative and funny and interesting, and we've, someone like me has stolen from it. You guys were more integrated in it than I ever was, but so I've stolen from it, and that's because, it's hard to not be influenced by creative genius, and I think we can all say that there's no one we've ever worked with more talented than Gordon Keith. Maybe you guys feel differently.
Joe Lecce.
Joey Milk.
I might put Joe Milk on there.
Joe Milk is sick.
And
And Gordon.
I've told you guys this.
One A and B.
Depending on the day.
I'm
like
really
Radiohead songs. It's like whichever one I listen to last.
Having the time. I'm really good friends with this man, Jerry Bishop. He's actually my dad's friend.
You're a dick.
He's not a dick.
A little bit of a dick.
I love Joe Lecce.
From the floor.
There's a guy named Jerry Bishop, and actually, if you're a basketball fan, you know his grandson Drew Timmy.
Oh.
Seriously, right?
Wait. Yes.
Do we have a Drew Timmy problem on this show? Did you go to Pierce?
No.
Oh.
Me and Drew Timmy were friends in high school.
Did y'all date? She wants to go ahead and kill
Not
it.
officially, no.
So did you ever meet his granddad, Jerry Bishop?
Can't say I did.
Jerry Bishop was principal at Richardson High School where Todd Keith went. Okay. Jerry Bishop has said to me before, that was the single smartest kid I was ever around. This is his whole life was coaching and teaching and administration.
And Gordon Keith is the smartest kid he's ever been
He said he
around.
was the smartest kid I've ever been
Should
around.
come as no surprise.
No, he is a fucking genius.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we all know it.
Yep.
And
He's such a genius that we all like. We've all had moments of this or years of this, and I don't know where the ticket falls in it, but it's like, why didn't the Gordon to SNL thing? Everyone's talked about. It's almost cliche. Like, why didn't he? And I don't know if he didn't want to or he was very happy, whatever. But yes, the ceiling for that dude was as high as anyone I've ever known.
Yeah.
Like just brilliant comedy and lightning fast.
I've known a handful of people like that in my life that have all of the skills, all of the talent, and all the opportunities to get out of this market and go to other places to succeed.
Really
or
sweet.
to
Thank you, Danny.
And the handful that I know are the ones that have chosen to stay in spite of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon's one of them, and Carter Albrecht is
I was
another
thinking
one.
About Carter.
Because these, and the reason I often ask Carter that, I've asked Gordon the same question, and they're like, I'm okay. I'm okay here. I want to make it here.
Yeah.
They don't have that thing to where it's that burning desire to reach as far as you possibly can. It's like, my family's here, my friends are here. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And I'm satisfied with the level of, whatever income I have and perceived success that I have, that I don't need to be worldwide or even bother messing with that, because I don't want to compromise what I have here. It's like people that I don't know. I have a lot of respect for people that choose to not chase that fame dragon.
I don't know if he realized he was doing it. Maybe he did, or maybe it was subconscious or whatever.
Other people might say that's lazy.
No,
but
no.
I disagree with
There's
that.
a lot of really great comedy writers on Conan or SNL, and you guys don't know their names.
Yeah.
Right? And they were probably Gordo-level genius. Gordo has had an immense impact on Dallas-Fort Worth. Immense.
Yeah.
And it's amazing on all these different levels. There's blowhard 40 or 55-year-old white guys walking around saying things that they would have never said had Gordo not uttered those words.
100%
language.
This
created a culture, a comedic culture in this area that
people copy
all the time. I do it every day. I use a Gordoism every day, and it's just become part of my baked in vernacular.
This is my opinion, whatever. Y'all can tell me to fuck off. This is not meant to diminish how talented George is, or how interesting, Reiner is, or how talented you are, or your unique abilities, or what Corby does. This isn't meant to diminish any of that. To me, the personality of the ticket was defined by the uniqueness of Gordon.
Every person that you just listed will agree with you.
And
every single one of them.
And and what happens is it's like let's just talk hoops. It's like having Luka on your team. Luka suddenly makes Dorian Finney-Smith, an undrafted guy, a starting NBA player. And so what happens is when you're around someone that is that uniquely talented and special, it brings shit out of you. And so what happens is this. All these people that are very talented and very unique and very interesting, and it's unlike anything else that's happening. And all these legendary media guys like Norm before he was on the ticket, and Brad Shammett, all these guys are like, oh, this will never work. This is going to fail. The uniqueness of that situation and the uniqueness of that person and their talent, I can remember listening to the station and I couldn't fucking wait until Gordo was going to be on again.
Yeah.
I loved sports. I like those people. I mean, I've told you this. I listened to Reiner on the Zoo as a kid, as my sister's driving me to school. So the very first day the station comes on and they say Mike Reiner, I'm like, the guy from the Zoo? What?
Yeah,
you've got to be fucking kidding me.
That was in the article that I read.
But is that right?
That was in there.
It was not. You're lying.
No, it was.
Was it?
Like LaBella and Billy.
LaBella and Rhodey.
LaBella and
I mean, I
Rhodey.
loved that show.
Billy.
I love that show. But my point is that I just couldn't wait until Gordon, because back then there was a time where he was on in the morning and the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't.
That's the case now too sometimes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
There's been some deletions from the station.
Have there?
But anyways,
None significant.
It's just like, and so his impact on
you're right.
His community is immeasurable, and he could have gone and written for SNL and nobody would have ever known his name.
Yeah, true.
Another thing that you mentioned, you've kind of come back to this several times, is about the ticket being such a little, it's self-contained little biosphere, and that it is in reality, when you think of the population of DFW, how expansive it is, that the hardcore listenership of the ticket is a fraction, a very small fraction of the greater thing out there. And you guys, your mindset was when you kind of realize that it's like, well, we're tapping into people that don't even know about that. There's people that don't know that the ticket exists.
Tons of
That's
people
a real
that
thing.
don't know what the ticket exists.
So I didn't really grasp that until maybe several months into me and Mikey working together at 97.1 when we start doing a little bit of remotes or we get people on the phone or interacting with listeners. And it was a shocking amount of folks that said, I never listened to the ticket. I never heard of you guys until I listened to this.
Yeah.
I didn't know about your show. I didn't know anything about Mikey or Danny or any of that stuff until I heard you guys on 97.1. And I at first I was like, whatever, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But eventually that amount of people, they're not lying.
That's what me and Ben learned when we left.
Yeah.
I'm still kind
And
of
you told me that too before, before we went on the air at 97.1.
But it's like, and I didn't mean that to, diminish anything about the ticket. I hold it in the highest regard. The other thing too that happened, I think, is that every media person, and this is getting to Dallas Fort Worth is huge if you're a media guy, think about a guy like Matt Berry who used to work with your brother.
He was his co-host
at
Barry,
ESPN.
ESPN's guy before we started Cirque.
Before he becomes a big ESPN TV personality, he came to Dallas Fort Worth, and that was a good place for anybody to be that aspires to be something. But every media person was jealous of what you guys had, and they all wished that they could do media like that. So when everyone in the medium glorifies what you're doing, it also makes it feel bigger than it is because your peers are in awe of what you created. So part of your bubble's not only the rabid fandom, zombie-like fandom of the P1, but also your media peers are all in just awe of like, oh my God, you're on the ticket. I can't imagine being in a job where you get to go do what you guys do.
Yeah.
And so it also inflates the specialness. Dude, and it is special.
Well, good.
No, please.
I always knew that when it was happening. And we discussed last show about some of the finances and how we didn't make any money. And I don't know if I have a better way to put it than you were always sitting at the cool table.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
No matter anywhere you went. And I would meet people who were like, God knows, in media or in other walks of life that probably made 8 times what I make, and their hand was shaking to meet me.
Yeah.
And I know that's insane, and you guys know me, I'm an idiot, but you still notice it.
Yeah.
Like hand shaking while they take a picture or a selfie. And that's exactly what you're saying, is that it was this different thing, like a different planet, like the coolest of tables. And when I left, I remember trying to quantify that. Like, I realize I'm not making any money, and at my age, I've said it. I said it on a certain YouTube or a Twitch show when I left the ticket. It's like
I listened to that, by the way.
I forgot. I've never once listened to it.
I've listened to it like 3 times.
I've never gone
to it right now.
I swear to God, I listened to it like 2 weeks ago.
We should play it.
It's
Matic, let's
amazing.
run it. People seem to like this.
I remember texting you, I just watched you and Gordon again on Twitch. Jesus Christ, you were hammered.
Boy, and Gordo loved shit like that.
Loved it.
Oh,
I got mostly good feedback from generally what I was saying.
Yeah.
I do regret, I guess, getting blasted.
I can't believe you were that drunk and that coked up.
But I was not coked up.
Oh.
But I remember not regretting anything I said. Like, I get pretty hammered and I like to party, but I also don't say anything too insane or that I don't mean, I think. And, you get lubricated. Maybe you spill even more truth than you intended to when you agreed to do somebody's Twitch show. So have a few more beers, Skin.
I think people like Mike Sirois for 2 main reasons. One, you have a incredibly unique comedic sensibility, and it's very fun. But also, you come off as a genuinely earnest person. Like, I think that you present yourself in a very real way, and I feel like for someone who's kind of projects this caricature, almost like this Hunter S. Thompson thing is happening, there's also a genuineness to you that people relate to. You feel vulnerable in some way.
Well, I am.
You're a Gemini,
Very,
dude.
especially right now. I'm very vulnerable. And if you'd like to sponsor this show, Cirque Du Sirois at gmail.com is the website. Anyway, I remember
He's feeling very vulnerable because he hit refresh on his bank statement last week.
Oh.
And the severance checks coming.
Z party is over.
Let me just, I know.
The tip jar. But the tip jar is
empty.
Is a jar.
Please a fill.
I know you guys.
Please the fill.
I do want to shout out a couple of people who Venmoed us.
Make it
during that.
overflow.
Shout out Tom, Josh, Brandon, Nathan, Jose, Andrew, Michael, Brandon, and Seth. They all
Damn.
Venmoed
Hell
during
yeah.
that.
Those guys
Mikey's
fuck.
going to be okay.
Hell yeah. Fill it up.
You're going to go back to making your ticket money any day now.
Fill it up like eggplants in the TV show Eureka.
I know you didn't get to
Thursdays.
hear the Ben and Skin show today on the Eagle because you got up at 6, but Christina made a joke today about making all the money in the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's been like a week.
A week.
It's been 1 week.
All right. I know.
God damn it.
Unless somebody had something that they were trying to get out.
Let me
Yeah.
Because on that Gordon thing, I said, and I've said it before, that I realized one day I look in the mirror and I'm like, I make less money than my age. And then I tried to quantify that with the value of working at the ticket. It's just like the Cowboys try to get someone to sign. Fuck off.
Skin glazes Mavs.
Somebody yelled bingo.
Hey,
Yeah.
skin glazes Mavs. Go fuck yourself.
And he touches hair.
What? I didn't touch my hair.
Obviously talking about Reiner, but being cool about it.
I don't think we did that.
No, we just talked about him.
Anyway, I think it's interesting to try to quantify financially, which is obviously not where I want to be at this point in my life, and trying to weigh exactly what you're saying is I know the ticket gives me opportunities, whether they be tickets to shit or come play golf at Shady Oaks or at Dallas National or stuff that really does matter or just feeling cool as shit.
Yeah, walking into Sprouts to get some celery and you go across the other end of the grocery store. Dingo!
Right. Like as much as
me. That's me.
That's me.
Play bingo with Dingo.
I mean, that shit does matter.
Yeah.
And it does add value to your existence, whether it be your soft self-esteem or whatever. But then you literally weigh the finances of that and then say, all right, I'm going to give that part up and hopefully make it work on the back end.
And the reason in leaving it wasn't just so much the money. It was the money, but it was realizing that I'm going to be here another 10 years and there's no opportunity. The ceiling was so low,
right,
for guys like you and me. And it's better to let's try something else rather than stick around and maybe in 10 years I'll make 10 more grand than I am right now because there's no middle class.
Yeah.
You're making 60 grand or below, or you're making $350,000 or above. There's just no
and the
middle
worst part
ground.
is if the dream came true, I'd be making a little more than you admitted to making last show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no triple digits.
No,
that's
all I
and
wanted.
that's if
give me the
Norm
80,
left
80.
and I get my dream.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'd be comfortable. I'd be like, oh shit, okay, I've made it. And you still have the cool table, you still have all that. But they know that everyone in DFW would kill for that position and would accept 72 grand, which is a shit ton of money, to take that position and then to get it. And then the advertisements and the live spots and everything that goes with it. Mm-hmm. Like, even if the dream worked, it financially, it was like, all right, I'm not exactly hitting the Powerball here.
And it's on under the terms of somebody else.
Completely.
Yeah. One thing real quick, and I know we need to take a little quickie and go wee and refill our tumblers. And I want to get. I need a delicious Roller Town from you. I saw you.
I got several.
God, we love Roller Town beer.
We talked about
a delicious beer. Huh? We knew that. Almost
there it is.
Hey.
Somebody's got to get a bingo.
Wait, yup, Mikey's drunk.
I just had the
Mikey's
leaderboard
drunk?
up 1 second.
Yup, Mikey's drunk. Bingo. Bingo square just got filled.
All right, we talk about quickly.
There's our leaderboard.
Quickly talked about the biosphere of the ticket, and you mentioned the advent of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things, and I want to know if you guys experienced it the way I did. When I was at the ticket working afternoon drive for as many or 22 years or 21 years, as long as I did, I could throw a tweet out that was just the most benign bullshit. And it would get so many likes and retweets and engagements. And the second that I left, if I put anything on Twitter, it was like throwing a hot dog down a hole. It was insane that nobody wanted to engage.
Was it when you left or when you started?
When we started at the free.
Yes, then that's different.
6 months later, or 7 months later.
Yeah.
Because that cult of listenership.
Yep.
It's like they didn't want to be. This was my assumption. They didn't want to be seen engaging with somebody that was now an enemy.
Yes.
Well,
and
yes,
and I would
we talked about that. Yes.
Well, I don't think have we ever talked about it in
no,
here?
No, not on here.
But we talked about it
plenty.
off. But I would actually get like there's some hardcore great ticket Twitter people out there that I've engaged with for years and years and years that I would actually consider, I've met a few of them in real life and would consider them acquaintances, friends, whatever, that they would DM me rather than like a tweet or comment or anything like that. They would DM me and go, hey, that thing you guys did today
funny as hell.
Was really, really fucking
Amazing.
funny. I love that song. Or when you and Mikey got in that argument with Reiner or whatever, that was great. But it would never be public.
They wouldn't even hit like.
They were kind of afraid that
so their friends.
Yes. Or somebody from the ticket would think.
know that you're stepping out.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't. Earlier,
did you ever experience that?
Earlier, you referenced the cool table. They didn't want anybody from the cool table see you dating the girl in the choir.
Right.
And it's kind of like,
even though she's got a sneaky banging body.
Dude, because she's wearing this real kind of big dress, you can't tell what's happening under there, and it's amazing.
Yeah. That was
my experience is just so different because again, our profile grew enormously after we left the ticket. Mm-hmm. And there's been people throughout the years since we left that will say to me and Ben, I used to love you guys back on the ticket. And we're like, dude, we're on.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't listen to anything but the ticket, so I don't know. So here's a person saying, I like what you do. I can't go check it out.
I'm not allowed.
And so that's the closest I would say, I've come to that sort of experience. Because again, people
it's
that
very
are
adjacent to what.
Yeah. People that are into Ben and Scan, we picked them up after we left the ticket.
And I've made this analogy a million times, but it's kind of like the ticket is it's such an aware brand, and it's such a part, like you said, it's defined a generation or two of culture in this community, in this market that you're just embedded in it.
Yeah.
And when you become that aligned with a brand, you don't. Look, if you're a Ford guy and you grow up, your granddaddy was a Ford guy, you drive a Ford.
Right.
Even if, you know what, Mazda makes a great whatever, SUV or, this brand over here is like, they're highly rated above this over here. Like it's a much better vehicle. I'm not saying that anything is better than the ticket, but there are other options. And just because it's the one that has the most brand awareness doesn't necessarily mean it's the one that's right for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like they're so loyal, and you don't realize that until you step away from it and realize, there are 6.9 other million people in this metroplex that have no idea what it is.
And it's behavioral, right? I met a person one time that told me that they had only been listening to 105.3 since it was a country station. And I'm like, man, that's amazing. So you listen to it through all these different formats and never left? Like that is like the ultimate comfort food for them.
That's a comfort number.
Yeah, it's a comfort number.
You're dedicated to a number on a dial, not even a brand.
Not even a brand. It's just like, well, whatever's coming out over this super strong 100,000 watt signal is what my allegiance is.
That's wild, man.
That's crazy.
All right, I have to pee. I need a new drink. Let's talk about our buddies with the Dallas Flash, right? Can we do that? A little pickleball talk. There they are.
Look at that lower third.
You do have pickleball written all over you, Skin, correct?
Learn from the master there, Chris. Put your eyes on that lower third.
So it's Chris, you got that? Take a picture of that with your phone. Replicate more of that.
Yeah.
Get more of that out of you.
Is Chris the guy that's over there?
He's the same man that you've inquired about thrice.
Intern stage left.
Yeah.
Is thrice on the board?
What are you, Shakespeare?
He's betwixt myself and Mikey, if you're looking straight ahead.
All right. Our
What's up with that
friends
chick's goggles?
at the Dallas Flash. I mean, this is our first sponsor, man, and we do support the hell out of them. Number one, gear. Like, Cash usually is in here, and he rocks some serious Dallas Flash gear. And he looks
You guys are rocking gear tonight, but not Dallas Flash gear. I wish
No.
I'd have known. I would have worn mine.
Well, I'm going to head over to
Skylark Soul Company in this ad.
I'm going to head over to DallasFlashPB.com
Co-op the ad.
and get some gear. And yeah, Dallas Flash is actually a reigning champion in the Metroplex. You know that, Skin?
Yeah.
The only professional defending championship team in the Metroplex. That's the Dallas Flash.
And this is pickleball, Skin. Did you know that?
I love pickleball.
It's so much fun to play. They got a big event, the Dallas Invitational, Mikey. Are
That's
you
right.
aware of this?
Is
Coming
that
up?
the DIT?
Am I?
Yes, it's the Dallas Invitational, July 23rd through 27th. That's 4 hot, fun days of pickleball. It's going to be at Pickler Universe in Carrollton. All of the best pickleball teams in the country are going to be there, and you can be too. Tell them how, Mike.
Hurricane Tyra Black's going to be there, Skin.
Word.
Augie Guh, Georgia Johnson, the Flick Wizard. J.W. Johnson's going to be there as well. You can get tickets at Tixr.com. That's Tixr.com. Fine. But honestly, even if you don't want to go to the actual event, get the gear. The gear is clean as a damn whistle.
Yeah.
At DallasFlashPB.com.
Tight.
All right, we're going to take a moment. We're going to refill some stuff. And I know you guys are compatriots, formerly on the radio, but now in the music game. And we're going to do the Velvet Rope, talk a little entertainment. And I know Danny has at least a video that we have to watch for sure.
You have to watch this.
And maybe some tunes that you guys have been working on. And who the hell knows what else. We'll get some chat going in you people. We're going to roll some marbles here in a little bit. We're going to update the damn bingo game. Somebody might win this thing any second. We don't know what we do that's going to trigger the bingo victory that will lead to a hat that Madigan used to sell when she was in college.
There's already some bingos, but we're waiting on the blackout.
All right, cool. All right, we'll be back.
Stick around. Watch Mikey black out in the second half of the show.
I thought we all had to pee. Well, I'm the only one that peed.
Oh, I peed in my pants.
Okay, you're fine.
Yeah.
I actually peed in Skins pants.
Yeah, I just.
Is pee and water feature on the Bingo card? There's another one.
When did that happen? He's not even wearing shorts.
I'm actually wearing shorts under my jeans.
And
his balls are fully exposed.
Yeah.
They're no longer contained. Yes, I arched my urine into Skins pants.
I wish I'd have stayed. I wish I'd have stayed for that.
Incredible. Yeah. We had 2 water features.
All right. Few things. All of them are exciting, minor, lower, not thirds, tiny little rascals. Let's show, I don't know, do you have like and subscribe? Because that just needs to be
always
on YouTube. We're supposed to have this ready. There you go. We'll get to Roller Town, damn it. I read the D Magazine article today, hot little D Magazine article.
Yeah, man.
I read a lot of articles on Skin today.
Yeah. All I did was read about Skin. There's a very excited Cash Saroy reminding you to like, share, and subscribe. That helps us on everything. And again, especially if you're on Twitch, that's owned by Amazon. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can get a free-ass subscription. I think if you've already burned yours, it's $5.99 a month or $4.99 a month, something like that. But if you don't do anything on Twitch other than watch this and play marbles with us, I think it says subscribe for free. You have an Amazon account. It costs you $0, and it's recurring every month. It actually helps us a ton. But obviously on YouTube, clicking the button and like and subscribe and whatever. And also any of the audio mediums, and shout out to our audio listeners. I feel like we do, that's one thing, we're trying to work on a lot of things, including interacting with chat better. And that's something that's 100% a priority. I talked to Madigan today about it. We want to be better at that.
How come you're not doing a good job tonight?
Because I'm not going to put my readers on and set off a Bingo card, which is one of the old guys use their readers. But I feel like we get so locked into this, understandably so, this visual live thing that we're doing that, for instance, those T-shirts. I mean, if you're just an audio-only listener, you got screwed because those things were sold out basically by the time that thing dropped in the morning. So anyway,
if you're an audio-only listener, at Cirque Du Sirois on Venmo. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. That's a verbal Venmo bag. I love it. That's just a tip jar. If you laugh and have a good time, again, we're doing this for free, for nothing. We're going to keep it that way. I'm not going to promise. I'm not going to read my lips, no new taxes, this thing. But we have no plan to ever charge anyone like $1 to listen or enjoy any of this shit.
That's the plan.
But it does become very dependent on potential sponsors. And again, delicious Roller Town beer is just something that I enjoy.
How do
you have an extra one of those, by the way?
I do, man. Would you like? I want to ask, how do the 1992 political jokes play with your audience?
Well, I don't know. Check
pretty good.
Actually, pretty well. Yeah, they're all old like us.
Would you like a Roller Town Light, a Big German, a 133?
I'm a big fan of your Pilsner.
That with the Ranger colors.
Yeah,
dude.
Was that your last one?
No, I got one.
You already sucked that one down.
Oh, so good.
He has an
Roller Town's
unlimited.
Pilsner is sick.
Yeah, I did.
You go, Doug.
So good. Thank you, bud.
Yeah, man.
Hey, look at this.
So yes.
God, wouldn't that logo look great? We could replace that sign with the nice Roller Town logo.
Well,
I'll talk to some guys.
if only we had friends that were associated with such a great product as Roller Town beer.
It's like probably the best beer I've ever had.
It's
Take a
good.
live
Listen,
sip.
just listen to that. Oh, man.
Oh,
What a-
shit, yes.
You don't
And
get
who says
that?
this isn't an audio experience?
It's incredible. Let's
yeah.
see.
Watch the joy. Watch the.
For your ASMR.
Hold on, let me fish it out for this.
Oh,
Exquisite.
Right?
Exquisite.
Right?
It's so good.
Am I right?
God, why can't I have this in my house?
Oh, get you some.
so. Oh, there's another Bingo. From anyone.
I guess that counts.
We had to get like 25 things. Madigan and I were like, I don't know. Strange bodily noise from anyone.
anyone.
Or like bubble voice counts, like anything. I don't know. It'll happen. And you went and gifted us a exquisite. All right. So anyway, we are ambitious on this station. We aim to be big, man. We want to make it big, and we actually have original programming as well. We have a couple of TV shows that actually air. I think our next one it's a TV special that's airing Thursday, and
It's like a one-off. It's not a series.
yeah, I mean, usually it's series. Eureka is a very popular series. Not in the Gang has got some traction comedies on CDS.
As far as like true crime, DUI is like skyrocketing.
DUI.
That's a
Did you watch DUI?
I've watched
This episode?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
So-
Danny under the influence.
I watched the pilot.
Yep.
I'm going to wait and I'm going to binge watch the whole season.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
And that's
Smart.
fine. Any way
Yeah.
you do it, any way you support or watch our stuff, we appreciate.
CDS is a premier network.
It is a premium network, and we even have live specials, and we actually have one coming up this Thursday. Skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind reading the copy for this upcoming special.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be that copy right there. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yep. What does best friends for life really mean? This Thursday night, America Gets the Truth, and a CDS exclusive. The answer is finally revealed. Benjamin Rogers and Jeffrey Wade sit down together live for a hard-hitting interview with CDS's own Eric Dampier to discuss the night that changed everything. The CDS network proudly presents The Night They Banged this Thursday on CDS.
And there's a lower thirds Skin.
Those guys are so in love with each other.
It's finally the truth.
Man,
Look at your mouth. You have a,
I got a giant rose.
Look at Ben. Ben
Dude.
looks-
And Eric Dampier is just not. It's hard hit on the left.
Eric Dampier is so pissed that you found the one picture of him where he's not casually wearing an Ed Hardy shirt. He cannot believe that one picture exists.
the look on Ben's face is like the look of a man who just received a thumb.
I was going to say, my thumb is up his ass.
We don't know which way. We'll find out Thursday night which way things went
The night they bang.
on the night they banged, and it'll be Thursday on CDS
A lot of shit on Thursdays, man.
with Eric Dampier.
Dude, look at how that picture is so old. There's not a lot of gray in either me or Ben's joints.
I'll tell you, that picture is from 2016. The article that I read,
Oh.
and the one article I read and pulled.
I got Ben pregnant that night.
I literally was trying to find a feminine picture of Ben and Skin, and I put Ben and Skin. I hit Google Images, and the very first picture came up. I'm like, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. They look gay there.
All right, I'll tell you. I know who took that picture, by the way.
Why?
And it's actually a guy you know. Your brother worked with him.
You ready to go 0 for 4?
Close. Yeah, you're
You know this
a
guy.
great friend of yours. Yeah.
DB?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, the first.
Danny Balis.
Not our sweet Danny Balis. Yeah. The night they banged, Thursday,
I will be what time is that on?
and
Thursday.
Wait, it's
Eastern.
live.
Just check your local list.
Thursday Eastern. Check your local listing. All right, last thing before we get to the Velvet Rope, we were going to do sports talk, which we powered straight past, but it is U.S. Open week, and we have a little tournament going on DraftKings, and there you go. If you want to jump in, if you're on DraftKings,
Look at your face.
there's only 100 spots. I left it up to Matt again. She did not choose a flattering option, apparently.
Is that
or that was one of the best ones? I don't know.
Is that the same guy from earlier?
Yes, that's Chris. Leave him alone.
All right.
If you're on DraftKings, it is there's another guy. Likes, share, and subscribe. Yes. That's a $10 U.S. Open party tournament. There's 100 spots in it, and there was 22 people entered prior to the show tonight. So click that bad boy and throw that on a couple times throughout the show if you want to play. If you are dick around on DraftKings and you want to play in the Cirque thing, top 15 get paid. It's zero benefit to me. I promise you. I just want to have my own little league. And so there's like 80 spots left in that thing. So if
We
you
need to get a DraftKings sponsorship on this show.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us about it, Skin.
I know.
I'm going to call Dr. King.
Good luck.
Call the Dr. King. Anyway, if you want to play DraftKings U.S. Open little tournament, jump in there. QR code links you right to the Cirque tourney with 100 spots. So do that. All right. One final thing of housekeeping is our buddy Daniel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel is much like Carrie, who wanted his video at the beginning of the break.
That was the best spot I've ever
driving in a
seen.
vehicle for no reason.
God, I love Freak Jesus.
You know you're and count this as the ticket as well. You know you're doing good when your viewers, supporters are about as dumb and funny as you are. And we love Carrie for many years now, and he definitely fits the bill. But so does Daniel, who's paid us X amount. I really don't know. Cash doesn't allow me anywhere near the finances of this thing. And he's like, he just wants a 10-second on every show. So in the name of Daniel S., I think we finally give him what he wants, a 10-second moment of silence for Daniel. Start that countdown, Matt, again whenever you want it.
And go.
And we appreciate you jumping on board, Daniel. Thank you.
Which Daniel? There's like 3 Daniels.
God, I hate sour cream.
You do.
I don't fuck with that shit.
We don't fuck with that shit. That's all you, baby.
And 10.
Yep.
I went into 7-Eleven today and actually asked the guy, what's the loudest chip bag you have?
Crunchiest, loudest chip bag you have.
And I had Bugles and I had the Flamin' Hot Cheetos and the Ruffles, and I was like doing the squeeze. And I'm like, I think this one, a little higher quality baggy.
I liked it earlier when you told the story and did the accent of the guy behind the counter. Do that again. That was really funny.
Yeah, he said, welcome to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Thank you for choosing 7-Eleven.
Sounds different.
Can I help
Than
you?
what he
a little
did
bit different than what he
earlier.
did before. A little more Eastern earlier.
Really?
Like New
East
Jersey.
Coast?
Yeah,
Okay,
real
Boston?
Jersey.
Across the ocean.
Further east.
Yeah, way over there.
My classic German
Hey, keep
accent.
going. Keep going.
You ever seen a German guy working at a convenience store?
214-787-1971.
Listen to our friend Skin on 97.1 The Eagle.
Yep.
Each and every day.
Live.
From absolutely live.
3 to 6.
From 3 to 6.
Call in, ask them questions. They love taking calls.
They love taking calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, call in the 5 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock hour. Call in. Get on there live.
Giving away a 4-pack of Rangers Royals tickets to the June 19th game tomorrow if you want to listen in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't miss it. And jump in the little Cirque little tournament if you want to play on your DraftKings. Let's grab that velvet rope and open it up for the people.
God, this beer is good.
Step into the world of A-list celebrities like us. Nah, that'll never happen, but we'll give you a peek just beyond the velvet rope.
All right, we had
Fantastic.
a very significant and important passing yesterday. I got news from our good buddy Jordan Richardson, former drummer with Ringo Starr, a Grammy Award-winning Jordan Richardson. Also does a live stream / podcast himself with our good friend TC.
He does.
Right?
Funny as shit, too.
Very funny.
They're
Their
really
social
good together.
clips are so funny. He's brilliant.
What's it called? Dirtbag Social?
Dirtbag Culture Hour.
Yeah, Dirtbag Culture Hour.
You don't
really,
seem like you watch it much.
Yeah.
I don't read. I just listen.
Yeah.
I listen to the entertainment.
Yep.
But he texted me and said, "Rest in peace, Sly." And it could only mean one thing.
You thought Sly Stallone died.
No, I knew
Rambo.
immediately that it was Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. And I immediately texted you, but I think you'd probably already heard about it.
KT broke the news to me because
KT
we got
did?
it. We got an email from Rad Messick. Do you remember those? Those
Yeah.
the Rad
Yeah,
Messick emails.
Yeah.
Did you break right in live on the show and
Yes.
break the news?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time was that?
Man,
It was such a fog for Skin, I know, because
can't-
this is a significant artist.
Yeah.
remember
It was a blur.
It was a blur. I will say Danny broke the news to me that Sharon Jones passed away while I was broadcasting a Maverick game.
Is that right?
You texted me.
I remember that.
During
Yeah.
a Maverick
You
game.
actually acknowledged it. You ID'd it.
Is that the
On-
only
on
significant celebrity death you've broken the news for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people?
That's kind of my thing. So,
did-
believe me, I was a little bit surprised when Jorts found out about the passing of Sly Stone before I did, because that used to be my thing. But yeah. Please.
Much like thousands, for real, the Michael Jackson thing, you absolutely did. And that is a high-level, significant celebrity death.
I mean,
And I remember
I was just
vividly
the only
listening
guy
to you.
that happened to have a live mic on me that was refreshing TMZ every second until it became official that Michael Jackson died at the age of 30.
Did you
I
freak
remember
out?
that day.
You do? You see, broke the news to you too.
I was in first grade.
Yep.
Oh my
And didn't he
God.
die? And Farrah Fawcett died, and the OxyClean guy. Wasn't that the
I
three?
think it was all the same day. Yeah, Farrah
Yeah.
Fawcett, the
and I
death,
was
the
in
death of
Iowa.
Farrah Fawcett Majors.
I don't think I knew that.
By Mike
And that's
Jackson.
all.
But I immediately texted Skin because I know how much Sly Stone means to you, maybe as much or more than he means to me.
Very
much.
much.
We've all seen now, at least in for the most part, the Questlove directed.
He directed it.
Okay, documentary called Sly Lives that's on Hulu, and I highly encourage anybody that is a fan of music or music docs to watch this one, because this thing is as good as they come. And I I really do believe this, and it was really strange to see an article that came out in Rolling Stone today that was written by Vernon Reed of Living Color.
Who's in the documentary.
Yeah. Because it shared the exact sentiment that I texted to George yesterday when I got the news, and I think I've told you that I feel the same way about Sly Stone, that he is probably my favorite and one of the most influential, if not most influential, American musical artists in the history of rock and roll.
I would not argue with that one bit.
And he doesn't get the kind of shine that I think he should when you consider all of the things that he contributed and things that he started, that without him being the touchstone, the creator of certain things, then we wouldn't have certain things that we have now.
Yeah.
But one thing that, and I know, Mikey, you watched it. What was your kind of like overall take
I watched it last night,
but before you would get in this, because I really want to know, because I know what a nerd he is. I know what a nerd I am, but I'm curious what you knew about Sly and the Family Stone before you saw the doc, and then how you felt after, if I can get nerdy
shockingly little.
Yeah.
Honestly, like almost embarrassingly little, to where I knew the name. I know Sly and the Family Stone, knew nothing about him. I know half dozen plus songs, maybe more, maybe a full dozen. But I didn't know shit. I really didn't.
And I think Mikey's in the vast majority.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of almost criminal.
Yeah.
It's a music crime.
Yeah.
When you consider how influential he was.
One thing I really like about this sort of stuff is that our buddy KT is, Jesus, he's almost 20 years younger than me. Like me and my wife jokingly say KT is our son, like as a joke, because he's kind of almost young enough to be our son.
Right.
But he's very passionate about music. And so I'm always curious what he knows about the older stuff. When we were going through the pandemic, he went and listened to every record on Rolling Stone's top records of all time in order. Yeah. Like, he's that guy. And one of his favorite bands is the Dave Matthews Band, and they do a lot of Sly and the Family Stone covers. And so KT comes at it through his love of Dave Matthews and those covers. And so I am curious. I mean, I know how I feel about it, but I am curious what, your average person feels about him and then sees that documentary and what they think.
Yeah, I almost felt bad after watching it. I'm like, how influential he was. I had no clue. And it's almost, and respectfully, he's got kind of a cartoonish name.
Yeah.
Probably in the back of my mind, I just sort of slotted into and I'm not besmirching George Clinton, who's maybe equally influential. I don't really know.
He's fucking incredible.
Yes. But I just, as names that I know did cool shit that was funky and fun. I had zero clue, number one, that he was born in Denton. Not that it really matters, because he moved when he's 3 months old to Los Angeles. But even when the doc like that starts and they play a few, I'm like, I mean, these are almost like I know every word to, and I didn't even know really who was behind it. So that part was the most fascinating, of exactly the point of this conversation. Is to illuminate someone who I've known my whole life and know nothing about.
Right.
And fascinating. I just kind of had him in the bin with guys from the 60s or 70s that did cool shit that I've never dedicated enough time to appreciate or really learn about. And it's definitely done in that two plus hour documentary, like really coherently. And
pretty illuminating.
Really well done.
You think about what the musical landscape was like when Sly got on the scene, and we can go back and talk a little bit about what got him to being the recording artist that we all know him for being, briefly in a minute. But at the time, the music that he was making, number one, he's a black guy that was, I guess, predominantly from the Oakland Bay Area. And
Vallejo.
He started a band that was multiracial and multicultural and multisexual.
Yeah.
You had black dudes playing with white dudes, playing with black women. I don't know if there was any white girls in the band.
No white girls.
No white girls. Okay.
White drummer, white saxophone player.
In a time where Motown was king and the British invasion was king. So you kind of like, that's what you listened to. You were listening to the Beatles and the Stones, or you were listening to Marvin Gaye before he got political and got amazing. Four Tops, things like that. Those were the artists that were kind of at the forefront at the time. What Sly was doing was incredibly groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Because he was breaking all the rules from the beginning. Things that I think most people would never even consider is, and this is maybe jumping ahead a little bit, but he made the concept and the idea of the home recording mainstream.
Yeah, you're talking about There's a Riot.
I'm talking about There's a Riot going on. And if you may remember this from the documentary, I know it was late when you watched it, but there was an album that he made that was kind of a comeback album for him because he had disappeared from making records and playing live for a considerable amount of time, had a lot of mental issues, a lot of drug issues. Cocaine was a very, very important thing in his life at the time. And he kind of disappeared into his basement and was just recording demos at home, using his, home reel-to-reel tape machines and terrible sounding drum machines and playing all the instruments himself.
And over compressing shit in a way that became aesthetically pleasing.
These things were to not ever be released by a record company.
Yeah.
But somehow he got them together good enough and doctored them up enough and got enough real studio tracks on there to combine them and make them releasable. And I really believe that without that element of his career, you don't have the early... Elliott Smith may have not thought that it was okay to release a very lo-fi, very homemade cassette deck sounding piece of music to the mainstream on a significant label.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the first.
He was the first. And they break it down. These things happen for several reasons. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are oftentimes circumstantial. There is a record so when I first got most of the soul music or jazz music I got into because of hip hop. In other words, I did not grow up in a household where my parents had cool records. I discovered these records through hip hop. And there was one particular record when I would first go out and buy records because I wanted to sample them. Mm-hmm. One of the first records I bought that was really good was Sly and the Family Stone's Greatest Hits. And it's basically the records that he did up to There's a Riot Going On.
Yep.
And it was released because he was cranking out these hits, and then he went into his drug, wormhole or whatever, and started doing all these recordings. But the record label wanted to crank more stuff out, so they put out this Greatest Hits record. But all of my favorite hip hop artists that I was trying to emulate had all sampled from Sly's first 4 or 5 records. All of them.
So that had already been mined.
That had been mined.
Yeah.
But the cool thing was, and actually Q-Tip in the documentary talks about this, because they had things panned hard left and right.
It was easy to grab.
It was easy to grab. And so there's drums that you guys have heard on a million hip-hop songs on Sing a Simple Song by Sly and the Family Stone. Like the best example I can give you, if you guys know the very first Dre and Snoop song, Deep Cover, which that was the first time they had recorded together. That hard-hitting drum sound, that's Sly and the Family Stone from Sing a Simple Song. And if you go over, you can faintly hear the horns because they're bleeding over on the track. You can faintly hear them in the drum track. But my point of all this is that I would also argue that There's a Riot Going On sonically kind of leads the way to the lo-fi sample hip-hop stuff.
100%.
Because of the way it's mixed, and I think it's mixed that way because he's in a cocaine coma, and it's they tell you never mix a record when you're fucking high, because when you're high, all kinds of shit sounds cool that probably doesn't sound cool when you ain't high. But that record... Are you high right now?
I'm not high.
No, that's Cash. He's not here tonight.
Yeah.
He's
He's one of these gummies.
Stone.
That record sonically, I think, kind of predates late 80s and early 90s hip-hop sonically even.
Yeah. And the great thing about Sly, and I think this is one thing that made him greater than the rest, is he was a producer. He not only was a great songwriter, a really interesting, cool singer, a wonderful arranger, but he came at it from a producer's mind.
Yeah.
Like he was producing music before he ever became a solo artist.
Yeah.
And significant, very popular records he was doing in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
All the way
The
up
fact
until
that he
kind of did his own thing.
He produced Grace. I never knew he produced Grace Slick's first shit. I had no idea before she was in Jefferson Airplane.
Yep.
Wasn't it Somebody to Love that he produced a version of?
The demo of that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
first
like,
version of that.
I didn't fucking know.
That was Sly Stone.
Incredible.
Yeah, you go down his little discography on things that he was producing. It was incredible. So having that mind of a producer, I know, Mike, you've expressed interest in being a producer.
Earlier in the show.
Yeah, what Skin said as far as like, listening to music, you can't be on drugs when you're listening to music. Yeah. So I think we're going to probably have to take you out of the running.
I was locked into the documentary, and then through no fault of the documentary itself, about a 3/4 pull, I decided to stop and masturbate.
Oh!
So I missed a good chunk.
Did you end up
of the
taking care of everything you needed to take care of?
No, I didn't finish.
Yep.
That's usually the case.
Went back to the dock.
Yep.
And I woke up with a glue stick.
One of the saddest, most shameful feelings is
somehow none of that is on the dingo.
Oh my God, is that right?
Just starting that act and not being able to complete it. It's like, why did I even bother?
There's a couple quick things I want to say about this documentary, and then I'll leave it alone.
And then we can move on.
And then we'll move on.
Well, do you have jams? I mean, play one jam you put in
play
there.
the Sly video.
You put like 2 seconds.
There's a live version
play it,
of
'cause people
him
know this
doing Family Affair, I believe.
Denton Zone.
Yeah, Denton Zone Sly. You can talk over this too.
Blood's thicker than the mud. It's a family affair.
That's his sister.
Oh, she's so great. One thing I want to say about him live, the studio albums are just perfect. They sound so good. Go and listen to, on Spotify or whatever, listen to their set at Woodstock. You will be blown away. You think about, Sly was always fucked up and it was the 60s and everything sounded like shit. It is a perfect set. He sings his ass off.
Yeah.
The band is tight as can be.
Yeah.
At Woodstock.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
And that's what really, there's Greg Allman on violin.
Isn't that weird?
It's a fantastic documentary. And getting into this whole idea, and think about it through, something that you relate to closer, which is like what Dave Chappelle did when he walked away from the Comedy Central movie, or Money, rather. And they go through this. It happened to Lauryn Hill. It's happened to all these African-American artists. It's like they kind of get into this whole separate idea of the burden of, quote-unquote, what black genius. And like this idea of, okay, how does this fit into our society, and then what it does to the person? And he's very much, because Sly Stone is a cautionary tale in that regard, but then he has all these other people that he references that are, a lot of them are peers of Questlove, who's taking a deep interest in all this. And I think it's very interesting. So there's that. But then also there's two particular moments, like when you're doing all these interviews of all these legendary people. And the stuff he does with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is fucking awesome. Like, I could hear those guys talk about this shit all day long. But there's two moments in that and what I was going to say is, when you have all these different people talking about someone independently of one another, and they're all talking about the impact of them in this emphatic way that you can rapid fire cut between them, that talks about a singular achievement of influence. When all these, incredible artists are losing their shit talking about him and saying the same things. But there's two moments in that documentary that absolutely blew me away and kind of gave me chills. One is something I already knew, but the way that Questlove edited it was amazing. And I already knew the story of how Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation came to be, but that happened when I was a senior in high school. And so that's a moment where, like, you go back in time and feel how big something is, and to know that came from a 2-second clip of a Sly Stone song, and it fused together this whole concept, and the way they break it down is really amazing. That's a really incredible moment of the thing. But the thing that I was not aware of, and I had a light bulb moment watching it, but the way that they broke down that Prince's 1999 was basically Sly and the Family Stone's dance to the music, that was like a fucking holy shit moment. Where like, as he's cutting back and forth and I'm watching this, I'm going, holy fucking shit. How have I heard this song a million times and I never realized what Prince was doing?
Yeah.
That's why you watch a documentary. Like, it's shit that I grew up with, was so immersed in, and it was just a light bulb moment. So aside from the subject that I'm so interested in, I love the artist, but the way that the movie is done is fucking awesome.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, Sly passed away yesterday at the age of 82.
Yes, indeedy.
Rest in power, young king.
Big heart problems, if you can believe that.
82 though?
Shocking that he made it as
That's
long as
amazing.
he did. When you consider the amount.
Yeah.
He did crack with George Clinton on a regular basis.
Yeah, he was a hardcore
crackhead.
Hardcore crack and coke and all of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have some other music stuff. Let's do it.
This is why I'm here.
Yeah, I know.
This is not why you're here.
This is why I'm here.
Cash has diarrhea again.
90 seconds left in the show.
Yeah.
Let's get. You want to start with your vid, or
Go ahead.
what do you want to do?
So the problem is that Danny can't talk about his great work.
Yeah.
And so I got to be here and fucking pom-pom this shit because he won't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. Look, he's already shifted. He's already off camera.
Look at him. Oh, I got to go. I got to walk my dog. It's time. So Danny has created a record that we are going to be releasing in a couple of months. And it's a really cool record, and it's called, the artist's name is Sir Daniel Esquire.
I love that.
Who was created by you,
I mean,
by the way.
You know.
We were trying to think of how to name this. I didn't want to use my name. And he's like, what about Sir Daniel Esquire? I'm like, wait a minute. He's a knight and an attorney? Oh, dude. All right. Yeah, I'm in. Let's fucking go, man.
Sounds awesome.
It just fit what Danny was doing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so it's like, Did
you finally get to listen to it a couple of days ago? You said you finally got your copy of vinyl.
Yeah, I finally got. Well, I mean, I've had the digital files, but I finally got to listen on vinyl, and it sounded.
Doesn't it sound really cool?
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And it is. I mean, there's other people that help out, but it is Danny. Like, it is conceived by Danny. He wrote 9 of the songs on it. 1 is a cover tune. A lot of it came from him going into his deep, dark cocaine Sly Stone and doing it all from his house.
Yeah, It's very homemade.
It's very homemade. And then he goes in and has some additional musicians do certain parts, but it's all from this fucking weirdo. And it's beautiful. And
Thank you, Mango, for the subs.
It's a wonderful document of, I think, like, where Danny is at this point in time with his influences and where he is with his life. And the songs are very catchy and very, very good. And he won't talk about it, so I'm here to hype it up.
Thank you.
But one of the things that we're going to do...
You my Flava Flav.
I'm his Flava Flav. He is definitely Chuck D in this motherfucker. So, by the way, Public Enemy had a lot of great Sly and the Family Stone samples. But back to the point here. We're doing our little record label, Skylark Soul Company, is doing a showcase June 28th at the Kessler Theater. Paul Shalda is headlining, and Michael Lee and the Wartime Limousine, which has some of our old friends, Matt Trimble and Chad Stockslager, in the band.
Former Bastard of Soul alumni.
Mr. Chad, former freak guest.
Yes, that's true.
And
in a Wartime Limousine?
Isn't that a great name?
Jesus Christ. In already.
Isn't that a great name? And Michael's an amazing singer, guitar player. He was on The Voice. He was on Team Blake.
Oh, no shit.
But
we've been producing his shit lately.
We've been producing his record, Silver Skylark's production. And so we're doing, they're going to perform. Our buddy Luke, who co-owns the label and co-owns Josie Records, is going to be DJing. But we wanted to do something extra special. And so we have the vinyl.
Because I'm unwilling to perform.
Yeah. I've tried so fucking hard to get him to perform.
The artist
and
is
he
unwilling to perform.
He is stuttering and stammering like coked up Sly Stone.
Like I'm doing a live stream?
Yes. I'm working on it. But we do have a really interesting concept for August we'll talk about some other time. But one of the things we wanted to do is the record's not going to be available till late August. But if you come out to the show, you can buy a copy of it now and own it on vinyl and play it before it's months before it's released.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an added bonus to come out to the show, and that's also going to force Danny to go to the show.
Yeah, attend the show.
Attend the show. But I'm not joking. It's a really beautiful record. The art is cool. The songs are cool. It's a whole concept. And, I really, and I hadn't thought about it in these terms, but when Norm Macdonald passed away, there was all these wonderful comedians that came out talking about how much they loved Norm. And it was on the Conan O'Brien podcast. They were talking about listening to Norm do a routine. One of his classic routines was really just a way of inviting you inside his mind and just seeing how Norm ticked and how he thought. I feel like Sir Daniel Esquire, Gracelandia, is an invitation inside Danny Baylis's mind. And it is...
Not that that's a good thing.
No, it's fucking awesome.
All the way.
I want you to put this record on your turntable. And if you don't have a turntable, I want you to buy a turntable just to play this record. And I want you to, as you listen to it, you're supposed to do it the way we used to do it. You look at the credits, you look at the art. The art is fucking cool. There's Easter eggs in the art that tie into the songs that he has written. And I am proud for Danny of this record. And if you are a person that is going to spend time watching Cirque, you are a person that is going to love this fucking record. And so I have wasted 2 hours of your time tonight.
Wait.
I have wasted 2 hours of your time tonight to get to this moment, in this big climax.
Yeah, so Skin said, hey, can you make a promo clip for just something quick that will, let people know about this event so they can come get your record 2 months before it comes out?
And fits what the thing is.
So I said, yeah, I think I can scrap something together. So I came in early one day before you guys got here and did this.
At an exotic location.
I got a tip the other night. Something whispered under breath, low and dark. Gracelandia by Sir Daniel Esquire. It's not the kind of thing you'd find in the daylight. This one's for the night owls, the ones who lean in close when the room goes quiet. It ain't out yet, not for the masses, but there's a place, a night, June 28th at the Kessler Theater, where the Skylark Soul Company Showcase puts this in your hands early. Paul Shalda plays. Michael Lee and the Wartime Limousine roll through. And Josie Records, they're setting up shop with the vinyl. 2 months ahead of the rest of the world.
Number 2.
I've heard that grooves can whisper stories, secrets, confessions, things you can't unhear. So if you want to carry that secret home, show up early. Skylark Soul Company Showcase, Saturday, June 28th at the Kessler Theater, featuring live performances by Paul Shalda and Michael Lee and the Wartime Limousine. The city never sleeps, and neither does this sound. Gracelandia by Sir Daniel Esquire waits in the dark. The question is, do you?
Okay, that's amazing.
That's so good.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Madigan.
That is so good.
You're welcome. Sorry, I missed my cue.
No, you're great. You're great.
Bingo.
No, Madigan ran the cameras for me.
She came in early.
Isn't that great?
She's just
Sure
always here.
did.
So silly.
I
Always
did
here.
come in early.
So expect that
We
to
text.
get blasted out all over your Instagram.
I'm
for the
going
next
to
2 weeks.
blast that out every fucking day.
Amazing.
That's so funny.
I love the record.
Thank you.
What's the date?
June 28th.
June 28th, Saturday.
Kessler.
Kessler Theater. Yeah.
If you've never bought tickets for the Kessler, it's at prekindle.com. You can go there, click on it. And...
Mikey will be there.
I'll be there.
Hey!
It's walking distance from my house.
Right.
So it's a Kessler. I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there too because I'll probably park at Mikey's house.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll grab his guitar and we'll just go up and Casey maybe plays.
Let's do a set.
Maybe he plays.
Set.
Quick
I'll
set.
do a little set. Me and Mikey together again.
All right.
By the way, TC did that artwork.
No
Really?
shit.
Yeah.
Hand painted?
He did it with his penis.
Paul Shalda,
It's using mustard as ink.
incredible artist.
And mayo for the
Beautiful
white.
Isn't he
voice.
great?
I love Paul.
You know what I think of, and I've told you this before, you know what I think of every time Paul Shalda is pictured?
Tell us.
So he was at the Last Bastards concert at Kessler before COVID hit.
Correct.
And then we had an after party at my house.
No shit.
That I don't even think you came to, but shitload. It was like a legit fucking party.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I'm an avid jigsaw puzzler. And I had this puzzle on my dining room table that was, you know, kind of off to the side, but it was this vibrant orange colored puzzle. And Paul Shalda, I mean, he did appear to be pretty fucked up.
No.
Okay, I'm not going to speak on what the man might be ingesting or whatever. I don't give a shit. Welcome to my house.
I don't think Paul would care.
Okay, well, I think he was macro dosing. And he was cool as shit, and he kind of wandered off to the puzzle room, and I just saw him kind of like looking at my puzzle, this again vibrant orange, and I was watching him, and I think he even kind of reached out. I wasn't watching him, whatever, he checked it out. And then the next day, days go by, and then I finally finished my 1,000-piece puzzle, and it's always a danger, and I look around and there's one piece missing that in my head, and I believe this, I'm like, I think fucking Paul Shalda ate one of my puzzle pieces. Like in my head, and I'm like, I'm still settled on this, and I've never brought it up to him because I wouldn't expect him to remember being at my house, much less eating what looked like a delicious tangerine-colored puzzle piece. There's a
He thought it was a tab?
fraction of a % of a chance that it's true, but in my head, that's where that one piece went. Because I'm very careful with my puzzles.
That's amazing.
One piece missing, and I think Paul Shalda ate it.
Come out on the 28th, and maybe you can ask him.
Oh, we'll
first.
finally ask him.
Get to the bottom of this.
That'd be amazing if he went up for the encore and he coughed up that puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Coughed it up, or he just out of his pocket. Like, finally. Do we have any you peoples or no? I don't know if you compiled them or not.
I have not because it's 10:07.
Don't even sweat it. We're running late.
We're sorry.
Normally, you people is when we have a bunch of compiled chats and questions and shit we ask, but we don't need to answer shit because I think we covered everything.
I think everything ever.
Right, boys? Mm-hmm. All right. Cleanup crew before marbles. Anything else? Did anyone hit a bingo? We tried bingo, which is the bingo game of playing with the show. Let's see what the final kind of numbers and stats are on that. I know we hit most of them. I will vamp this sentence as long as we need. All right. Well, that guy won. And that guy finished second.
That guy.
And that guy finished third. And then the ones I can't read, they finished.
There was only a couple that we did not hit, so nobody got a blackout.
Okay.
Can you guys move that further away so I can see it more?
If you put your old man readers on, we can get another.
We can black this thing out.
Yeah, we could get another one if someone puts on their glasses.
We're perfecting how this works, but it's essentially a bingo game of shit that happens during the show, and I don't know. Maybe we'll send you a hat, whatever. We'll figure it out. But I think it worked well. We will perfect. We will figure out a better way to do it and make it work. The Venmo thing, again, if you're watching this shit, whatever, if you want to throw a buck in the tippy tip, you can do it. If you don't want to, all good.
It's still going to be free.
Yeah, the show's going to be free. But honestly, we're trying to figure out how to make this thing work. So until we get a big boy sponsor on or somebody else who wants to join us. And if you are interested in sponsoring, Cirque Du Sirois at gmail.com. For real, hit us up, and we would love to have you on board and do this 2 nights a week. And
That's
really
right, Roller Town beer.
Sling some quality beer. God,
delicious.
It's delicious, is it not?
We should have made in the jar a can of Roller Town beer.
It's probably the best Pilsner
let's do that next
I've
time.
ever had.
Skin won't watch next time, though, so we should have done it tonight. Damn it. Shit. But for real, I know a lot of people have thrown a buck in or a few bucks. Amazing. Thank you very much for supporting and checking this out.
Dude, get a Buc-ee's sponsorship. So throw in a Buc-ee into the tip jar.
Okay, that does.
Sponsored by Buc-ee.
There you go. It works.
This guy.
The only problem we have is Buc-ee's not being interested.
I'll call him.
Please give him a
He
call.
probably has friends at Buc-ee's.
All right, Marble Party. Madigan set it up. If you're on Twitch, you can be a part of this thing. Look at them flowing in. Look at these athletes.
I do want Skin to hear my marble song that I made.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Oh, yes, I cannot
We gonna play it now?
Fine. Yeah.
Crank that.
Put your headphones on. This
Not believe I missed that.
No, you're.
One moment.
You got a lot of shit going on over there.
I do.
You got Chris sitting next to you.
Fucking Chris.
God damn it, Chris.
Is that guy over there?
Yeah, that's the same guy.
The guy with similar hair to me.
Yep. Identical twins,
This
actually.
song bangs.
Look at this song. It's fun.
It's a marble race.
This sounds like Kraftwerk.
Kind of does, right?
Yeah.
It is sort of.
It's a marble race,
Yeah.
everyone.
Welcome to Marble Race,
Place your
everybody.
wagers. It's fun.
As we said 3 weeks ago, whenever we started, we're going to try to figure out how to integrate it with YouTube as well. But we're still just kind of stuck here. So
Working on it.
if you're on Twitch,
We're doing so well on Twitch. Why integrate?
No, exactly.
Why do we have to be like Sly and integrate?
Right.
We don't. If you want to play in the marble race, all you have to do is simply type !play. It's simple.
Oh no! Here, there you go. It's simple. That's like
another bingo square for anybody playing.
You need the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, man.
You don't. If you actually just focus and read the words, it's all right there.
Form.
There was some scratched out stuff because there was a lot of confusion. And people historically would, I think, write the wrong thing in chat to irritate me, leading to me having to put arrows in and some other clarification. I feel like just made things more confusing.
Those are arrows?
There are cave drawings that have more clarity than that goddamn paper towel.
If you're on Twitch, !play, and you're going to have a marble in this race. There's zero skill involved. Gravity always wins, as Radiohead and many others have taught us.
Yeah.
And Madigan is going to, in a few moments, hit play. And these marbles are going to drop, and then they're going to bounce around. A bunch of them are going to launch off and be eliminated.
This is the real reason you came, Skin.
Hell yeah.
To do the show.
We've learned, I think
to hit 200.
There are many people who just wait through our bullshit so they can play the marble game.
I want to give a couple more shout outs for our Venmoers.
Hell yes.
Shout out Brandon, Seth, John, Charles, .com, the Collectible Network, Hey Cash, Travis, and Lisa. And I think I just got one more from Justin. Thank you guys.
For real, thank you. And I will check the Venmo at the end of the night and look at all these names. And then I'll forget them probably instantly, unless it's like double dig.
And then just transfer the money to your bank account?
Yeah.
Did you just imply that this part of the show is like in 2005 when people went to the Ranger game for the dot race?
Yes. Oh, I love the dot race.
See? There she is. Yeah.
Closer to the 50-50.
I've also been to like one baseball game.
I got pressured into going to play in the 50-50, the last Ranger game I went to. I almost said Dodgers for some reason. Did not win, but I was very excited for a minute.
For 50-50? No, I'm scared. I don't understand it.
Well, it's just half the money goes, I guess, to charity, and half the money goes into some asshole's pocket. Like you can go to the Dodger game.
Hey, Christina.
And win $15,000 the second you walk out of there.
The thing about Cirque,
What's up, Mom?
The thing about the Cirque tip jar, this game is called 100-0.
Yeah, exactly. Please gamble on the 100-0 game with this QR code right on your screen.
You get nothing.
You got no chance at anything, but you might win a marble race. First person that does win 3 marble races, we are giving $500 to and $500 to the charity of your choice.
Is that right?
Yeah. And we have no 2-time winners. We have Cash has the list, so he'll be here Thursday. Bunch of 1-time winners. Do we have a prize for tonight? We
do have a prize for tonight. So randomly enough, when I was in college, I had a trucker hat company, and it was awesome. I loved it, but it just got too big. I started failing my classes, so I had to stop making them. But I still have a couple of leftovers, a couple of designs. I think 3 designs I brought up here today. So if you are the lucky winner today, you get a 72 Capco exclusive hat because I don't make them anymore. So
from Sweet Madigan, who got through college and made a shitload of money. They're like dope. They're fucking cool hats.
Thank you.
And you know what? Speaking of Madigan, real quick, shout to our boy Kevin, Big Kev, who had a
shout out, Dad.
Madigan's dad, who had a I don't know if you want to get into the specifics. Doesn't matter. Had a procedure done yesterday. And he's laying in 6'7" Kevin's laying the big lumberjack Paul Bunyan
in a twin bed
is
somewhere.
laying in a tiny twin bed, probably in the guest room.
The couch,
just scrolling like crazy, doom scrolling on his phone, just trying to get through the damn night.
I have got a lot of reels today, and just watch this movie. You should watch it.
Watch
Made my
here,
eyes
look
sweat.
here, for real.
I'm resourceful of Madigan to create a trucker hat company to raise money in college. Well, you were out giving hand jobs behind a racetrack.
Yeah,
right.
2 at a time. Line them up.
Double trouble. That's what they
Line
call
them
them.
up.
I'm downhill skiing.
Line them up, truckers.
Only ski on the weekends.
Yeah, she had a far more efficient way to make money.
That's a Bird Dogs lyric.
On the weekend. That is a Bird Dogs lyric. Inappropriate.
Yeah.
All right, we have 209 athletes.
We get 210.
That's a record.
Salivating.
If this is your first time, go on over to Twitch, like if you're on YouTube, and hit !play in the chat. If you want to play marbles, it's free
and fun.
You win a hat.
It's a marble race.
Place your wagers.
!play if you are on Twitch and you're gonna have a marble in the race. You don't have to do shit. Nothing happens. They're all just gonna go and we'll figure out who wins this thing. And if you are again on Twitch, if there's a little button at the top that says subscribe for free, if you have a Prime account. It gives you you can sub up to the show, and it does legit help us out a ton. These are fallopian tubes.
We chose this because it felt like it went with the Night They Banged graphic. I just feel like love is in the air.
Starring Jeff Skinwade and Ben Rogers.
Yeah, man, it's a great story.
We do want to remind
Rogers.
everybody this Thursday.
Look how much love. That's what y'all had for each other.
Hosted by Eric Dampier to
Here's
watch The
10.
Night They Banged, the
Here's
real
10.
story.
You pick a worse host.
He's not
like
electric.
That. No, he's not.
And now here's your
Dick
stoic
Valentine was
host.
busy.
All right, 2:10.
All right,
We're going to give it
players.
10 seconds. If somebody else joins, we'll reset the clock. 10 is on the clock. 9 is now on the
Can
clock.
you read
There's
all
11.
those, Can you read all the names of the contestants?
No, but you can zoom in. Watch us, Madigan. Go interview one of our athletes.
Meow.
Bam! Overshot.
What's up, Coach Shula?
Oh, that's that's actually Cash.
Oh, hey,
Coach
Cash.
Shula.
Robot
What does
Santa?
orange? What does orange punch mean? That feels very sexual. 213.
That's your
people are in.
missing puzzle piece.
That's
punch.
That's shoulder.
Oh, no.
All right, 213 are in 10, 9, 8 seconds until they go. 5, 4, 3.
2.
Win it for Roller Town.
1. All right,
I was going to stop and eat for a minute.
Yep.
All right, hit it.
10.
Is that different from the other countdown?
Lose the tippy. There you go. Lose the tippy. We need full video.
Go.
Look at him go.
This is
The
incredible.
Baker
This is incredible.
There's the uterus.
I might win this thing.
down the
today.
fallopian tube.
Man, Z Baker's
more
off
like
to
a
an
colon.
incredible start.
Who's in the back? Who's slow?
We're in the
Bud.
colon.
Bud, you
Bundy
slow.
won. That's me, third from the fucking end. You can zoom in a little. Go get to see what they're going through. Really take a look. There you go. Who are these
Is that close
shits?
enough?
They look like soccer ball.
I'm gonna barf. I'm gonna barf. Stop doing it. Exit. It escape from the
Look
entire.
at all
bar.
them marbles.
Everyone idiot went flying. All right, here we go. Okay, Jackhammer. I don't know what that means in the league. Jacob protest.
Jackhammer has just escaped the cervix.
Congratulations. It's a tough piece.
They should be a little hymen that the first marble explodes.
It's about love, not female
And
reproduction.
There are the spinning IUDs.
This reminds me of the time my dad walked in, threw a book at me, and said, "Read this," and it just was like it had a bunch of cutout illustrations.
My dad did the same.
Yeah.
It was probably the exact same book.
It probably made about as much sense as this, too.
We'll
at the
see
time.
10-10 Sly fly.
Oh,
Are we approaching the launch?
Oh, my God. Double vagina.
You have to land
Oh.
the cup. Oh,
no.
Land in the diva
Willie
cup.
missed it too. Who's going to hit the cup?
I love you so much.
This game's incredible.
It looks just like one, too.
The makers of this board clearly did this.
You guys have got to do this at Cosm.
Cosm, yeah, we'd like to rent out your entire facility.
For what?
Business.
For what? It's like a game.
It's called reproductive system marbles.
How many guests are you going to expect? 5? I don't know. Maybe.
Just show them a picture of ticket stock.
Show them ticket stock and sell it. All right, zoom in. We have athletes approaching the finish line. Who's going to win Madigan's college hat?
Not pre-worn. He's saying it like that.
Who is this?
Let's
A
go.
limited edition.
Let's go.
Who's going to do it?
Boom!
Oh, wait, is it still going?
Ooh.
Holy shit, Silky didn't fuck around. I see him again. I saw Silky at the
Silky
Dumb
in
Zone
there?
event.
Is that Dirk's
That's
sister?
a top
10-5
5 finish.
Samurai.
It's not,
Congratulations.
It's not Silka.
Did Silky
Dirk's
win
sister.
one like last
He won last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, somebody went back to back?
No. He finished 5th. But I saw Silky at the Dumb Zone generic summer event, which was fucking amazing, by the way.
It was incredible.
Absolutely.
You were there
showed
for
up.
5 minutes.
I was there a very short time.
Because
had
I
to
was
go
there a
again.
long time and you were barely there.
I was sitting down at sushi when you text, where you at?
You're like, yeah, I drove by
I
earlier.
don't know, sashimi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pizza
come on,
Bomber.
Carrie.
The real robots. And oh my God, is that our Carrie?
Come on, Carrie.
Dead farting last.
No, Carrie.
Just stuck in the plumbing.
Damn stoner.
Then 5 Samurai. That is a win. If you are a random person on Twitch, you just jumped into this thing. Cool. You want a hat? They're awesome looking.
Send us a Twitch message.
Send us a Twitch message and we will sort out how to get you the actual gear.
If you do follow us on social, send us a message on social, preferably Instagram, because I think you have to be verified to message us on Twitter.
Oh,
Still
really?
figuring that out.
All right. Well,
Instagram if you can. If not,
find a way to get
Gmail.
home, and we'll send you some gear and that sort of thing. Good. Anybody?
Super fun.
Let's real quick remind everybody to watch this Thursday. because we have original programming again. It's The Night They Bang.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
With Benjamin and Jeffrey. A special live event hosted by Eric Dampier.
At first, before I saw the rose petals, I thought you guys gave me a Tyson tattoo on my face.
No.
Kind of looks like that.
No, that's a beautiful
Maybe
rose.
next time.
They really
in full bloom.
They really do look in love.
Yep.
Oh, man, that was a wonderful night.
The truth, that rose is blossoming like a prolapse.
The look on Dampier's face, I'm doing what?
Tonight?
Hosting what?
So
right.
this Thursday, a special live event, The Night They Banged.
Incredible.
With Benjamin and Jeffrey.
I'm excited
Just
to bring this to live
get it
television.
out.
Yeah.
Weight off your fucking shoulders, right?
Now, and I'm excited that you guys would be willing to promote it despite the fact you'll be live streaming at the same time.
We take risks.
It's a network, Jeff. Look, we're all about options.
Yeah, that's on CDS 2.
We're not going to pretend like we're the only show and no other shows exist.
On CDS.
Yeah, there's plenty of great entertainment in this town. There's room for all of us.
This is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Jeff Skinway.
You're a goddamn legend, dude.
Thank you.
And I love you so much.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you.
This was so much fun.
You looked amazing in your Shawn Michaels hat all night long.
I'm part of.
Thank you, Ty Walker.
It's a Kenny Chesney summer for me.
Yeah.
It's your
Chat
time.
was saying Ozempi, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Ozempi, Kenny Chesney.
Barefoot Nation, bros.
All right. Yeah, good. Everything covered. Am I in trouble for anything? Not yet? All right. Jeff, for real. Love you.
Love you.
Yep.
Love
we
you.
planned on talking about getting fired and working at the Freak, and we never got to a word of it.
Is that that's the same guy from earlier, right?
He's not moved a fucking
Chris.
centimeter. He's
Yep.
Chris, and he's awesome.
That's interesting.
Get to know Chris.
Bloody Gulch.
Baseball.